So-called security is nothing but an illusion. And it's about the illusion of the government protecting us from some type of outside threat, when 9 times out of 10, that outside threat's actually being orchestrated by the very people that want to pose as saviors. Up on Infowars.com, we have a lot of breaking news, but one of the biggest tidbits of information is Super Bowl hijacking proves government cannot protect you. And, of course, that's Matthew Mills, 30-year-old Matthew Mills, who was able to get up during the press conference being watched by tens of millions with the MVP, who was mumbling into the microphone and was able to simply say that 9/11's an inside job and that it should be investigated. And we as a society need to understand that this shows how vulnerable the power structure is and the different propaganda arms. So we're going to play that clip in a moment. Do we have that clip ready? Let's roll that clip right now.
No, I always imagine myself making great plays, but you never think about being MVP.
Investigate 9/11. 9/11 was perpetrated by people within our own government.
All right. Is everybody all right?
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's watch that clip one more time.
I always imagine myself making great plays, but you never think about being MVP.
Investigate 9/11. 9/11 was perpetrated by people within our own government.
By the way, folks, if little things like that continue to happen, like Dan Bidandi, our reporter, asking real questions about the drills at the Boston bombing, it is over for the establishment. If we go to city council, county commissioners, state house meetings and testify during citizens' communications, if we call into talk radio, call into C-SPAN, if we just constantly culture jam, there are billions of us that know what's going on worldwide. And if we all simply jack into the establishment media, we can totally overwhelm it and dominate it. And more and more, it's happening. We need to tell Obama he's a liar when it comes to his agenda, just as that congressman did 4 years ago. We need to call these people out and not just be spectators. That man who got up there, Matthew Mills, age 30, from New York, that's the most valuable player of the Super Bowl, infiltrating all the stupid fake security and the mumbling so-called MVP. I mean, who cares about an MVP? And who cares that Peyton Manning had one of his worst games the last few years? Now they're saying Peyton Manning's a big loser and he's discredited. No, he was in the arena. He was going as hard as he could. He's not a loser. And people rioted whenever the Seahawks won in Seattle. Boy, they won't riot about forced inoculations. They won't riot about Agenda 21 having their power plants turned off that doubles their cost. They won't riot about your whole future being mortgaged and the country being bankrupt by design. It just goes on and on. People burning things, attacking businesses, knocking out windows, a bunch of dumb idiots because their tribe won. The Seattle Seahawks, a bunch of drugged up steroid heads with some Bill Gates wannabe owning the team, taxpayer paid for them. I mean, it's all just absolutely the bottom of the barrel. All right, that's only some of what's coming up today. It is a big transmission lined up. Hey, did you hear? You can't have a birthday party in your own backyard now. That's the new Agenda 21 zoning. It's all coming up. Former Minnesota governor, good friend of mine, Jesse Ventura, is going to be joining us to talk NFL and what happened last night and the whole sports obsession and what he makes of the fellow taking over the live broadcast with 9/11 was an inside job. That is our only guest today, Jesse Ventura, who's launched his own new online TV show that I was a guest on last week. It's great to be on Ron Paul's show and to be on Jesse's show. That's how we're going to defeat the dinosaur media is all the liberty lovers launching their own broadcast. You build it, they will come. Infowars.com is a great example of that. So the governor will be joining us in the second hour. We will have open phones in the first hour and the third hour, and probably with Ventura as well. There's so much to talk about, obviously, that I want to go over. But if you go to drudgereport.com, we'll punch that up on screen. You can see their top stories there. The Seattle slaughter of Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. Peyton blames noise for first snap miss. Well, doesn't matter. I mean, that's just the way it is. And concedes end of NFL career is near. Post-game press conference interrupted by 9/11 conspiracy theories. That's right. And mass transit Super Bowl turns into mass chaos. Snowstorms brings traffic to a crawl around New York City. Isn't that just special? Because I thought Al Gore said that we would have record hot temperatures by 2013. And Al Gore also went on to say that the entire Arctic northern ice cap would be melted by 2013. Of course, it's at record size right now. But notice that red link on drudgereport.com. That is a Infowars.com, prisonplanet.com article. And while you're up there, you can see Leanne McAdoo with a 50 caliber rifle at the same time. That makes feminists get very upset to see an actual empowered woman with the highest caliber firearm you can get legally here in the U.S. But I guess they got a few specialty firearms that are even higher caliber. But I just like that. God, guns, and guts. Automobiles and Betty Page. Decades, Seahawks fans run riot after Super Bowl victory. America's only seem to get excited over sports and Black Friday sales. What would happen if they got excited about the Bill of Rights and Constitution being overrun, or Obamacare making more than 40 million people already in just 4 months go from 40-plus hours a week to 30 hours or less, many of them less than 20 hours, or doubling the average cost of health care just 4 months in? No. Don't get upset about an actual mega screw job and being lied to by Obama. Don't get upset about our government openly funding al-Qaeda and giving them weapons in Benghazi and ordering the stand down. Don't get upset about any of that. Only get excited and go out and have some bonfires, attack some buildings, knock some windows out on police cars. That was all reported. And then the police kind of stand down and let people do it because, well, they're just having fun because of the game. But if you try to go out and peacefully demonstrate in places like Seattle, and I've got video of it, the police will arrest you claiming no protest against the WTO or other globalist organizations in the city. They did send out some riot police, did make a few arrests of those they caught engaging in property damage, but did nothing against the large mobs of morons. By the way, if you were in front of my house running around burning stuff, I mean, I'd get pretty mad. I just want to say this. Don't come around my house burning stuff or you're going to get lead put in you. That's all I'm going to say right now. But in this country, every time the Lakers win or the Heat wins some championship, people go out and turn cars over and burn stuff and beat people up. By the way, I haven't even covered this yet, and I forgot to tell the crew. I think it's called 2 Hippies Get Beat Up by 6 in Austin. It's viral. It broke last Thursday, and it's a racial attack. It's 6 black guys beating up 2 hippies who beg for like 10 minutes while they're beat up and kicked on the ground by what looks like pygmies or something. And I'm not looking for a fight, but let me tell you, the average person that'll beat up an innocent person for no reason is a wimp. I mean, there's a lot of black guys, white guys, you name it out there, I wouldn't start a fight with that look like they could, chew through metal or something. But you never see some big, tough black guy beating up 2 weak white guys. It's little gang, thug, scumbag, racist, saying racist things, beating 2 white hippies up that literally beg them and tell them they're down and that they're homies and everything. And literally midget black people, literally midget black racist, beating up the white guys. And it goes on for like, I don't know, how long's the video? Well, there's a longer version I saw and then they get them on the ground and they're beating them up. And you can hear the beginning of the exchange. These black guys all get around them and start talking crap. And they go, what, do you need money for food or something? They're total hippies groveling to them and then begging them not to kick them anymore. I mean, look at those wimps. I mean, I guarantee you I would hospitalize all those people in a matter of seconds. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I at a primitive level, 6 guys attack you. I mean, it is just absolutely time to start, jumping on the first person with your knees on their chest, slam their head in the concrete. This is the most pathetic drag rat, black Klan member, racist, just beating up 2 hippies. And I guarantee you these little thugs down on 6th Street, right by the police station, by the way, the police station's like a block away. I will get stomping the head. I guarantee you these little thugs with their underwear hanging out and stuff, look, just hit that guy again in the face. And the trendy whites, though, know not to fight back because that would be racist. I guarantee you if these black guys told those white guys to slit their throats or feed their children to meat grinders, they'd do it. I mean, just look at the patheticness. And then there's these black chicks laughing at them. But no media will say the real headline. 6 racist thugs attack brainwashed hippies. I mean, I'll be honest with you. At a primitive level, I want to go down there and find those guys. At a primitive level. I mean, I guarantee you, folks. I guarantee you, if that had been like two Mexicans that were down there, and I don't mean like Americanized Mexicans, but real Mexicans, all those black guys would have been stabbed in about 5 seconds. Just fam, 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 you're all dead. And if that had been some rednecks down there or other big black guys they tried to fight with, they'd all been dead, ladies and gentlemen. But they knew who to target, ladies and gentlemen. They knew who to target. You walking along some Mexican, you go start something with them for no reason, you're dead. You're going to get stabbed real fast. But those little thugs know that. Don't mess with a redneck. He's going to have a gun or a fight back. Don't mess with a guy wearing a John Deere cap. Don't mess with somebody that looks like they know how to. No, go find 2 hippies that literally think they're God. In fact, you guys call Adon Salazar, Kurt Nimmo, and Kit Daniels in here right now. Because this is a big viral story. I meant to call them Thursday night when I first saw this video going viral that's now been seen tens of millions of times that nobody's covering because I just want to give them these directives right now on air. Bring them on in. Not with microphones. I just want to talk to them all. Come on in, gentlemen. The video is called 6 thugs beat up 2 hippies. And if you listen to the audio, they're like, hey, man, what's the problem? You need food? I'll give you money. And they're like, no, we're going to beat you up because you're white. And tie it into all the black attacks all over the country that the media won't say are black attacks. Because, again, we've talked about the Klan when they do this or, rolling gay people. We're against that. But the point is, that's not a phenomenon now because it's been culturally decried. The phenomenon of beating up white women mainly, because that's really who these cowards want to attack, or white hippies. I want to warn people with long hair walking around. I'm not knocking you got long hair. If you attack Rob Dewey, beat the hell out of you. Not everybody with long hair is a wimp, but they know how to get the shuffling going, I'm a trendy. I want you guys, this is going to be a viral story. It's important to tie it into all the racial attacks that are going on. And to point out that in downtown, that's right at the end of 6th Street, right by the parking, right by the police station. I think it's like less than 100 yards, actually. I said a block, that the police can't and won't protect you. And that's why everybody needs a concealed carry. But again, the fact is they're not going to mess with somebody in a sports jacket or a woman with a fanny pack because they know people are packing. But, I mean, you wouldn't even need to pack on those guys. I literally thought this was like Oompa Loompas. Racist black Oompa Loompas have literally from the Lollipop Guild have now attacked. So who want? I mean, I want all of you to do reports on this. I mean, what do you want? Who wants to take the racist angle and the media not covering it? Who wants to take the angle they can't protect you? Okay, well, you guys do whatever you want. Just hit them and hit them hard. Badass. Excuse me. I have got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this is unbelievable because they know white hippies are self-loving, hateful, Obama-supporting trendies. And, man, they're just saying, you white piece of bam, bam, beating them. And they just beg, please, my brother, I'm trendy, I'm a liberal. They're like, that's why I'm attacking you. I mean, it is just absolutely. I love it. I mean, I just love it. I literally, I'm not looking for a fight, but watching this video, I'd have loved to broke some jaws and I mean, just, oh my God, I get higher than a kite just watching this video, thinking about what I would do. I mean, I would just, man, I'm telling you, I'll tell you, some heads would have been bouncing. I'm not a basketball player, but I do bounce heads off the ground. It's just a bunch of, most of these guys, a couple of them are 20, a couple of them are like 18. No, I've looked at the video. They're not 12 years old. You know, a few of them look like they're about 5'10", 6 foot. But I mean, they're just, I mean, I love how they punch too, like these big windmills. I mean, it'd be so much fun to just bam, 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 bam. And then, yeah, I tell you, I think I'd just go right to jumping on top people though, because that's what really gets them. Just throw yourself down on somebody, their head hits the ground, jump up, attack the next person, and then somebody would connect with my head, and then I'd really start killing people. I mean, just taking their heads and just ramming them up against poles. I'm talking absolute crush. Oh, I'm sorry. I should turn my guns in. I'm evil. I'm white. I apologize. Racially attack me. I'm evil. A very pathetic scene. Both the black racist attack thugs that then rob their wallets are disgusting, but so are the jellyfish that have absolutely betrayed their forebears and turned into defenseless she-men. In fact, a woman would fight back. My mother would fight back 10 times that. All the women I know fight like a cross between a crocodile and a mule. He kicked like a mule and bit like a crocodile, to quote Johnny Cash. I mean, this is just amazing, but this is the new man. When you watch the video I just mentioned that's going up on Infowars.com, and then the guys are going to do articles on it, it is the new man. You put up with abuse just like in England. You fight back against thugs attacking your house, coming in to rob you. You will be put in prison. They will be released and sue you if you so much as fight them physically back as they attack you. Because the ultimate sacrament in the coward state is that only the state has force, and it's loving little street thugs. Okay, let's continue here. Again, fans rioted in Seattle, as you know. And everyone is very, very concerned with the fact that the Broncos that everyone thought were going to win lost. I went to one Super Bowl party, and people were so depressed that it was a shutout. They didn't even care as long as it was a good game. That I watched about 30 minutes and left. And I said, it's clear they're going to lose. And it didn't even matter to me. It's just that's what people are doing. So I went to one. First Super Bowl party I've been to. That's not true. Last year I went with Shane Steiner to his Super Bowl party at the Steiner Steakhouse because that's fun, and I like those people and like the steakhouse. I was invited out there. I probably should have gone out there last night, but I didn't want to drive way out there. But long story short, I'm done basically talking about that. We've got a big compilation of the rioting and the burning and the attacking at Infowars.com in Paul Watson's article. And it's also red-linked for the time being on DrudgeReport.com up at the right-hand corner, so you can't miss that. Let me give you some of the other news that we have here in front of us. Property rights bill introduced after Virginia woman threatened with fines for kid's birthday party. Neighbors heard the 24 or so children and adults playing in the backyard, if you go read the local news articles about it. And the neighbors said that they didn't like that, so the zoning inspector showed up and said they thought it was an unauthorized gathering. Kind of like zoning inspectors are saying you can't have even backyard gardens now, or you can't bake your own cookies and sell them at school or whatever. Just total tyranny. Local officials, not servants, who abuse zoning authority powers to cower citizens into submission and deprive landowners of constitutional rights in the enjoyment of their land must be subject to fines and actual damages they cause, including attorney's fees. Delegate Bob Marshall noted in support of his HB 1219 or 1219, recently introduced in the Virginia General Assembly. Marshall introduced his bill in a direct response to incidents precipitated by county officials, not servants, who threatened Virginia citizen farmer Martha Bonita. She gained national attention after she was cited and threatened with $5,000 per day fines for hosting such menacing activities as a birthday for 8 10-year-olds and some adults. It was less than 2 dozen. That was another event she was in trouble for. Without a permit and advertising pumpkin carvings Virginians rallied at 2 pitchfork protests in support of Bonita. Now, folks, let's expand on this. This is everywhere. Week and a half ago, my parents have got a heated pool and a hot tub, and I went over there with the kids for dinner at least once a week. They love my parents. They went up and did some painting and playing board games, and we had dinner at about 6, and then we went out and got in the hot tub, and we got in their pool. And we were squirting each other with water guns that we were loading with the cold water hose because it was cold out, but all steaming in the pool and the hot tub. And my girls were shrieking and screaming like little girls do at a birthday party. And the police came and said, your neighbor thinks someone's being killed. And believe me, you could tell it was girls giggling and laughing in between, chasing each other around with water guns. And so that's the new America. And everybody I know gets the cops called now. People in apartments can like slam their finger in a door and go, oh, man, oh, and cops come. Because neighbors watch TV and they want to feel fulfilled the minute they hear anything or see you putting a gun in your car to go to the shooting range. You're going to jail. Doesn't matter the gun's legal. Doesn't matter it was lawfully transported. The police act on that sacrament, that religious thing, and say, well, the neighbor felt threatened. You're going to prison. And that's in the news every day. We're going to come back, get into all the other news, give the number out, take your phone calls. But you're not going to have a birthday party with 8 kids in your backyard. Sorry, you're going to go to jail, $5,000 fines, period. Trendy white liberal hippies that they beat up and stomp on their heads and mercilessly attack and then rob. And this has been out since last Thursday and literally happened at 7th and 6th on I-35. We've now looked on Google Maps, 140 feet from the front door of the police station. There are police cars just lined up and parked there, police everywhere, and they beat them, and it goes on and on and on with everyone celebrating. And that's why I won't go down to 6th Street anymore, is because groups of racist black people, we should go stake it out actually in our cars and videotape it, rob and attack people every night. And the media will not cover it. Imagine if the Ku Klux Klan was down in downtown Austin in the music district by the police station waiting to waylay and rob black people. You would have Jesse Jackson out there. But because it is the devil cracker, it's okay. And I personally have had enough of it. And John Bound's brother plays in bands. He was telling me he won't go down to 6th Street anymore and was telling the story of what happened to him last year. John Bound, tell folks, now imagine in his case more than a dozen people coming to gang up and beat him up for no reason. This is the opposite of being honorable. This is so cowardly. This is so pathetic, and it will not be decried because the knockout game, no one can even admit that this is a racist attack going on nationwide. Now, Al Sharpton finally, because so many videos came out of them beating up not just whites but other groups that are not black, and he said it's disgusting and should stop. But Austin, Texas has the knockout game going on where they beat and stomp and attack innocent people and then celebrate it and then rob them and take their wallets. So this is the type of garbage that is going on everywhere. John Bound, before I get into other news and give out the phone number, tell folks your experiences downtown.
Well, I don't go down to 6th Street very much, but my little brother's in a band called Pacifier, and they're a national band. They were downtown playing, and they got done around 2. And once they were done, I was walking back to my car, and there's a bunch of thugs just like that standing on the wall, calling me all kinds of racist names.
Right at that same spot?
Well, down towards 6th Street a little bit more, actually a little bit closer to the...
Tell folks what you told me they said to you.
Honky cracker, white boy, don't you want to get your butt kicked? Stuff like that. Just trying to rile me up.
Don't they know it could go like the New York subway where the 10 thugs tried to rob the white guy for the upteenth time and got shot? I mean, don't they understand that this is Texas? I know folks are moving in here from New York and California and stuff, but I mean, if I'm at my car and somebody tries that, I'm going to pull out a 308 Reaper. I mean, it's not going to go well.
Yeah, they're going to pick the wrong person. And the thing is, you're within your legal right. Once they come up and try to rabbit punch you in the back of the head, it's on. You can protect yourself. So when they come and do that to the wrong person, it's clobbering time.
Well, it's really amazing. You know, you and McBreen already had like 8 guys get in a fight with you, and McBreen beat a bunch of them up. We haven't even told that story until now. Maybe we should get McBreen in here. I mean, it's just a bunch of thugs wanting to start fights down there. And I got to say, it's almost exclusively black thugs trying to attack white people.
By the police station.
By the police station.
Yeah, right next to the police station. And the police are apparently allowing this to happen. But we'll see if any of those guys get arrested. Who knows? It looks like a few more.
Bound, since this happened to you, I want you to go down there with a camera and show the spot where it happened and do a report for the Nightly News tonight, showing some excerpts and giving credit to the folks that shot that video. It looks like the folks that shot the video might have been fans of it. I'm not sure. We need to ascertain that. There's a lot of celebrating going on during this racial attack and robbery. And again, you would think that this would be all over local news, but I checked as of this morning and did not see it. Maybe I've missed it. But again, you're not supposed to talk about these racial attacks, just like you're not supposed to talk about Obamacare doubling the average premium or how it was written by foreign insurance companies because, you know, Obama is our Lord and Savior, as Jamie Foxx said. And Mancow talked about how since the movie Django Unchained came out, now everywhere he goes in Chicago, black people say, "We're going to kill you, white cracker." And then they'll say, Django, Django, Django. So great work, Quentin Tarantino, creating racial division. And literally, you've got all these self-loathing, trendy whites that literally hate themselves and hate the white race now being beaten and attacked and laying on the ground begging their king. And I think that's good. I don't think just beating whites is enough. Whites are inherently evil. I think all whites should be put in concentration camps and their heads beat in by blacks with ball-peen hammers. I think that's what Martin Luther King would want. What do you think, John Bound?
Well, I just like to express something that comes to my mind all the time is the fact that I grew up in the 70s, and I grew up in Washington, D.C., partly. And black people, white people, we didn't know color. All we knew was personality. And now we've reached, and it seems as if we've overcome that, and we got beyond the segregated schooling and the busing and all that, and we try to overcome that as a society, as a culture.
Shut up, cracker.
But
shut up. You know you're racist, and I'm going to knock your teeth out.
Okay. Well, I am from Kentucky, so I don't have a whole lot of teeth. No.
Oh,
folks.
come on. I like folks from Kentucky.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I tell you, listen, the Democratic Party is the party of the Ku Klux Klan. And when they couldn't win that demographically, they shifted to race baiting. And they literally teach that all whites are racist, all Republicans are racist, adopting a black baby's racist. That's what they do. That's their job, and they're doing great. I predicted that all this race baiting would start racial attacks 5 years ago, and now it's happening everywhere, John Bound.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Now, I know you're in there. It's your day of the week or whatever as we rotate folks through to run the TV board. But why don't you punch out, go get on your suit,
yeah.
And I want you to go get, maybe take Trolls with you,
yeah.
Take Glenn with you, and I want you to go down there to the corner of 6th and 35, and let's just say you're going to be there at 1 o'clock. Anybody who's been racially attacked who wants to meet and be interviewed, I don't care if you were black or white, though we know it's going to all be whites, because that is the devil, the blue-eyed devil that deserves it, thank God. But we need everybody to go down there to 6th and 35 or 7th 35, right in front of the police station. I guess that's technically 7th and 35. This happened on 6th and 35. And you'll see John Bound on his camera. He'll do a stand-up report, tell his experience, show some clips of that. It'll be on the Nightly News tonight and on the show tomorrow. And we will then, if anybody wants to be a witness to what's happened to them or others, that gives you an hour and 19 minutes, folks, out on your lunch hour to go down and be quickly interviewed on or off camera by John Bound. Now, I know because you're white and we're attacked, you may be ashamed of the fact you're white and may not want to be on camera due to your...
I'm very American.
No, but I'm talking about the other white victims, the other cracker asses. We need those that this has happened to go down there in solidarity and come out of the closet for being white and apologize. Apologize. In fact, I think they should arrest the 2 white hippies that got beat up and stomped and robbed, because when the guy's fist and feet hit him, that was a cracker assaulting a god. Do you understand that?
Oh, absolutely. I think the folks that beat up the white fellas should wear shirts that say racist on them, and that way we can stomp out racism.
But racism only comes in the form of the cracker.
or Honky. Maybe we could have the band Honky meet us down there as well at the police station. Any members of the band Honky, local Austin band Honky.
There you go with all your band stuff. Okay, thank you, John Bound.
Absolutely.
Get suited up. Let's have CJ or one of the other great guys come in and take over the board here, and let's send you down there to do a report, a serious report, John, on the phenomenon of it being covered up nationwide. That's the issue. Why would the press not cover something like this? All right, we got Jesse Ventura coming up, but I want to get your take on the Super Bowl and the TSA and the gunships and the checkpoints and the drug dogs and the snipers and just the whole disgusting situation. 800-259-9231. Maybe we should do a whole show on how they're banning backyard parties nationwide, even for children. You have a permit for that pony? Well, yes, we do. The kids are riding on it. I mean, just keeping us in line. 800-259-9231. Here's a smattering of some of the other news up on Infowars.com. Super Bowl Sunday showed us there is no al-Qaeda threat, other than the one our government's funding. The government protecting us from it's the ones that run it. Super Bowl hijack proves government cannot protect you. Excellent article. Get that Super Bowl clip ready of the guy taking over. By the way, it turns out he is a former We Are changer, so we're going to try to get in touch with him. In fact, before I give the numbers out, I just gave the numbers out. I meant to give the number out for, I guarantee you, in fact, we've already ascertained it on his own Facebook. The guy that took over the Super Bowl MVP press conference with 9/11's an inside job investigated, and the government covered it up, which is bare minimum. They covered it up. He is a listener. So we need to, after we take this board of calls, no more calls except for him getting in. And maybe he can be on with us with Ventura. Or send us your phone number right now, sir, at showtips@Infowars.com. I know David Knight's calling him right now. But that's somebody that can pop in even during Ventura or in the third hour. That article's up on Infowars.com. Super Bowl hijacking proves government cannot protect you. Man penetrates multi-million-dollar security ring with excuses and fake pass. The much-vaunted multi-million-dollar security ring. What would you do if somebody had a bomb or a gun? I mean, a security checkpoint is the place to attack, folks. That's what they do in Fallujah. The much-vaunted million-dollar security ring in place at taxpayer expense for this year's Super Bowl was easily penetrated by a man with fake pass and an excuse that he was late for work. Yet another example of how government security theater cannot protect you and its colossal waste of money. Well, it's not. It's a domestic control grid over the Tea Party. They admit that. And, of course, who promotes the police state, the Tea Party, thinking it's, to keep us safe. It's pathetic. Prior to the big game, the authorities, the public servants, boasted of their lavish preparations for Super Bowl 2014. Bomb-sniffing dogs, 700 extra troopers, 24-hour FBI command center, and a vast network of surveillance cameras, and see something, say something, snitch program in full force. So the man saw something, he said something. TSA agents, snipers, no-fly zones, helicopter patrols. The bill for all of this, which ran to the tens of millions of dollars, was paid for by taxpayers, despite the NFL already getting a sales tax break for a further cost of $8 million to residents of New Jersey. Also, remember the NFL is tax-exempt and pays no federal income tax on its vast profits. However, the 30-year-old Matthew Williams, my hero, made a mockery, However, the 30-year-old Matthew Mills made a mockery of all this when he crashed a post-game press conference to tell the viewing millions that 9/11 attacks were perpetrated by people in our own government, urging them to investigate 9/11 before being dragged away. How did Mills penetrate the fearsome ring of steel? No one even checked Jakari Jackson's ticket or scanned it, by the way, or Josh Owens. When they went around shooting videos, news videos everywhere. Around the MetLife Stadium, he used a fake pass from an old music festival and claimed he was late for work. Mills hopped on board an employee bus, headed for the stadium, just like I did Bohemian Grove, and relied on the same excuse, just like I did at Bohemian Grove, every time he was confronted by security. I just said I was running late for work, he told NewJersey.com. It was that simple. Folks, here's the bottom line. People think my infiltration of Bohemian Grove was fake because CBS News tried it, People Magazine tried it, Vanity Fair tried it, got arrested. That's because they try to go up and interview people and ask questions like a cocky reporter. I snuck in, and I did research on the place and knew about some of the internal clubs, and then still got questioned by Secret Service and sheriff deputies 3 times, and then went and hid under, with Mike Hansen, who snuck in with me, underneath planks for an hour while the cops looked for us because they had surveillance cameras. Then we crawled out at dusk, got the video of the ritual, and got out. And it's a testament to what you can do. I mean, I infiltrated Delta Force operations when they were doing takeover drills and had them at gunpoint take our video one time. And by the way, I've been told by high-level special forces people, they're even retired, that I'm, quote, a legend because I did that a couple times, 4 or 5 times, because no one would ever do that. I'm a legend, quote, in special forces because I would sneak into operations. Big deal. I knew they were doing narcotics trafficking drills. I had inside sources. I had police chiefs giving me intel, San Antonio police chief. It's all on video. What, just because I showed up and did something? I'm nobody. But I'm somebody. Just like this guy infiltrated and did this. And they're going to come after him. You watch, because they're scared of this, folks. They're scared of what we do going and confronting Janet Reno and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and George W. Bush when he had me arrested as governor for simply asking about the Federal Reserve being private and saying, aren't you going to do something, Governor, at the end of his speech? I knew his prepared speech. They were supposed to have a press conference. They canceled the press conference. I'd seen a bunch of his speeches. He said, and that's what we're going to do for Texas. They clapped. He was getting ready to leave. And I said, Governor. And he knew me. My sister went to school with his daughters. I've had lunch with Bush multiple times when he was governor. Years before, in his first term or whatever. In fact, I knew him before he was governor. I didn't know him well, but I've eaten barbecue with him and Mexican food, I think 3 times. I looked at him, and I was told by insiders he watched my Access show every week and listened to my radio show. And they all knew who I was. He directed the state police, the Texas Rangers, to grab me and almost break my arm. It's all on video. Why? I didn't do anything wrong. They're afraid of us getting up in front of their staged events, up in front of their theaters. Now, let me stop there and briefly remind you, all of this is brought to you by your support. All of this is brought to you by supporting us and spreading the word about the transmission and linking to our stories and putting out our stories on Facebook and retweeting our stories from Real Alex Jones and all of that, and buying the products. That's how we're able to have these great reporters to come in here and write stories and have street reporters and send Jakari Jackson and Josh Owens to the Super Bowl and send them to the West Coast to cover the radiation and make national news and force real issues out there. This is special. And I thank you for your prayers and your support. We try to bring you the very best Pro Pure, Pro 1 2.0, cut out the glyphosates, the fluoride, blows the competition away. I bring you the best filters, blows away all the competition. Side-by-side comparison. Start filtering your water. InfoWarsStore.com, promo code WATER. That's promo code WATER, 10% off the already lowest prices. InfoWarsLife.com for the Survival Shield proprietary Nascent iodine that's done wonders for myself and my family and my thyroid and my health. Just look at me on video. Still an ugly creature, but my goodness, people are blown away, especially in person. And I chalk it up to my glands not having enough of the proper pure iodine. This the fluoride shield that has the 5 other ingredients with the nascent iodine that I take with it to supercharge. The organic coffee I drink that we have, the Wake Up America coffee, the Super Male Vitality, which I don't take every day. It's so strong. I took some this morning because I was on Coast to Coast AM and I'm tired and worked out this morning. So, you know, I'm operating on 3 hours sleep and feeling great. It's all available at InfoWarsLife.com. Just try it, folks, and regardless, you supported the broadcast. But I think you're going to be blown away. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Your phone call's coming up, and then Jesse Ventura. Andrew in Pennsylvania. You want to talk about sports being rigged, my friend? Go ahead.
Yeah, from a Philadelphia sports standpoint. Hey, the day before the Philadelphia Phillies won the 2008 World Series, Bud Selig was asked on Baseball Tonight, the baseball commissioner, what if we have to go to Tampa? And Bud Selig said, I don't think we'll be going anywhere, suggesting he knew the Phillies were going to win. And the second piece of evidence that Philly sports was rigged was because before the Phillies won the 2008 World Series, we went through massive suffering for 25 years before the Sixers won the 1983 World Championship, and a mathematics professor determined that the probability that Philly sports could have gone that long without winning a title was 1 in 50,700, and I emailed Brian Toey about this, and he suggested, hey, there is evidence to suggest that they would toy around with Philly sports fans.
And by the way, I want to get Brian Tully, author of The Fix Is In, on tomorrow, guys. I want to get him on about that game, but I mean, you know, I'm not saying it's all rigged, but key plays, key players are gotten to. That's come out. That's why your ticket says it's for entertainment purposes only. But I tell you, if it was rigged, they did a bad job because nobody wanted to watch that near shutout trampling of the Broncos. And again, only reason I'm covering football is that's how we get the general public to think about how manipulated we are. But I just wish people would go in there burning houses for their freedom, not for an Xbox. I wish people would, riot for the Bill of Rights and Constitution. I don't want them to actually riot, but my point is it's so ridiculous to do that. And I just say good job to the guy. In fact, let's play that clip. Thanks for the call, bro. Here's the fella who actually took over during the MVP press conference with 9/11 was an inside job. Here's that clip.
No, I always imagine myself making great plays, but you never think about being MVP.
Investigate 9/11. 9/11 was perpetrated by people within our own government.
Boom. Short, sweet, got the job done. By the way, we're going to be getting him on the broadcast today or tomorrow. I want him on this radio show. We've got his contact info. We're working on that right now. Or send us your contact information, sir, at showtips and infowars.com. We've got one contact, but we're trying it. Let's go to Paul in California. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, brother. Go ahead.
Great. Yeah, I have to agree with you that the NFL is pretty much a zombification of people in the United States. They care more about the game than they do for their own individual rights. And, if you listen to the president's speech the other night, the State of the Union, he lays out his game plan of what he's going to do. This is a forthcoming of what he plans to do, bypassing Congress and so forth. But, I wish people would get, like you said, just as excited about, what the president's going to do and protest that as they do for a football game. So, I don't know, Alex.
I totally agree with you. But, I mean, in every case in history, in an authoritarian collapse, sports become just absolutely king. But I think we're starting to hit the bottom of this, or the top of it, as they say, because ticket sales are down, people are sick of it, viewership's down. And I mean, just the parade of government acting like they're heroes with machine guns, but citizens shouldn't have guns in New Jersey, but government can. I mean, give me a break. Great points, Paul. Ronnie, and many others. Your phone calls are coming up ahead of Jesse Ventura. And then the governor's going to be joining us to talk about everything that's going on. We're going to cover the waterfront and a ton of breaking news. And I've got my take on the death of that actor, Hoffman. Former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura is scheduled to be joining us via phone. He's got good Skype, too. We ought to get him via Skype, for heaven's sakes. Did you even ask about that? He's got his new online TV show, very popular. I was on it last week. Ventura is coming up. Right now, let's go to Ronnie in Pennsylvania. Ronnie, what'd you call in about today?
Well, I'm here to talk about, the Rothschilds and how, most Americans don't even know who the Rothschilds are.
Well, they're our Lord and Saviors, like Barack Obama, according to Jamie Foxx.
Well, if we don't bring these guys to justice, we are done. We are over. We need to end the Fed now.
Well, what's wrong with having foreign families own the fake private Federal Reserve and rape and destroy our financial system and turn us into a police state? I mean, we ought to be very thankful to the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the globalists. I mean, sure, they funded both sides of the Bolshevik Revolution. They funded Napoleon, Hitler. They're totally horrible people. They're funding carbon taxes worldwide to shut off our power. I mean, what's wrong with that, sir?
What's wrong with it? Well, if we don't do something fast within, the next year or two, we are completely done. We need to set a date and have the masses show up on their front lawn, and we need to bring these guys in. There's not enough people out there exposing the Rothschilds, and if you went out on the streets today and asked 100 people, I guarantee you one person would probably know who the Rothschilds are out of 100.
Well, I'll tell you, 15 years ago, 16, I guess almost 19 years ago, almost no one knew the Federal Reserve was private. People call in and say that's a conspiracy theory. Now almost everyone knows it's private. So the worm is turning, my brother, but good points. God bless you. Let's talk to Mark in Texas. You got a Russian military story. Go ahead.
Yeah, Alex, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you, man, and keep it up. Get people woke up. Here's my point real quick. I was in downtown Conroe, walking out of a store, ran into a guy in full military. Didn't recognize the outfit. I was ex-military myself. Asked him, looked him up and down. Hey, what outfit you with? The Russians. Russian military guy wearing full garb, walking out of a store, pretty as you please, in Conroe, Texas.
I know, they're all over Texas. People see Russians, Germans, British troops, you name it. And then it's in the Denver newspaper that they're training for civil unrest in America. They really do plan on using foreign troops here while our government tries to overthrow Russia at the same time, because it's a corporate globalist government that's trying to destabilize all the countries. It's a world corporate government. That's why that's going on. You know, I wish people would pull out their cell phones, get video, talk to these people, get photos, be aggressive when you see this type of stuff, and then send it to us at showtips@infowars.com. That is so essential.
Well, man, I'll be looking out for that. And I have another thing real quick. Like the Census Bureau, man, has been blowing up my phone like 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. I mean, what's up with that?
I hear you, my friend. Everything is getting more and more insane. I appreciate your call. We're going to go to break. We've got former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura coming on. I was on his TV show / radio show last week. Very excited that he's doing that. Excited Ron Paul's doing his own show. It is just so good to see all these liberty lovers, people that have a conscience and have been steadfastly consistent in promoting freedom and true libertarian ideas, really launching their own completely unfiltered, raw operations. And that's where everything's going. That's what I did almost 19 years ago. Ventura launched himself in talk radio, really into politics, too. So it's important for all of us that love freedom. I don't care if you do a YouTube video once a week and you're just a lady that bakes pies or something. All of us need to be heard and speak out against what's happening and take over the Super Bowl post-game MVP stuff with 9/11's an inside job. We'll get Jesse Ventura's take on that and a lot more. Well, here's the CBS News headline. It's one of the top stories in the country now, all because one man, we've learned is one of our listeners, on his own Facebook site. We're getting him on probably in the middle of the next hour or the nightly news tonight. A gentleman during the MVP press conference, right at the start of it, with more than 10 million viewers, they estimate, still watching, Matthew Mills, 30, of New York, took over and simply said 9/11 was an inside job orchestrated by inside forces in the government, needs to be investigated. And now here's the headlines. MVP Malcolm Smith interrupted by man calling for 9/11 probe. The New York Times calls it conspiracy theorist, hijacks press conference. No, we've proven, and 6 of the 10 commissioners have said that it was a cover-up. We know there was a NORAD stand-down. We know those towers were blown up. We know there's a cover-up. And someone out there, more than anybody other than myself, who's had the courage to be the tip of the spear exposing 9/11 truth, until the point they won't even have him on places like Fox News anymore because he wins these debates, bringing up Tower 7, is former Minnesota governor, best-selling author, host of Conspiracy Theory on True TV, now has his own unfiltered, tape-to-air or live sometimes show that I've been on, Off the Grid television at ORA TV, Off the Grid, ORA.TV/Off the Grid, or just type in Jesse Ventura Off the Grid or type in Jesse Ventura YouTube. You can find it all. And this is what I love seeing happen, this revolution of individuals doing their own shows, totally uncensored, unfiltered. And so we're going to talk about that. He's with us for the rest of the hour. Great looking site, Jesse Ventura Off the Grid at Aura.tv, just like PrisonPlanet.tv. And he joins us right now. But first, he's down in Mexico. I want to play this clip for him and get his take on this 30-year-old Matthew Mills, who snuck through security, infiltrated, got on one of the employee buses to infiltrate, to tell the truth. True special forces for the truth and America against this inside job. Here is part of the clip.
No, I always imagine myself making great plays, but you never think about being MVP.
Investigate 9/11. 9/11 was perpetrated by people within our own government.
And again, that simple statement, and then they're freaking out in their response all over the news last night and today. This is all over every news channel, causing a giant debate. it shows that, number one, their fake security is a complete fraud with the gunships and the groping and the checkpoints. Governor, great to have you back with us.
Thanks, Alex. Great to be here. Geez, I watched the Super Bowl from off the grid. I was able to watch the game yesterday, and unfortunately, I went back home and I didn't see the MVP presentation. By the way, just for my note, who did win the MVP?
Who did win the MVP? That was Malcolm Smith of the Seahawks.
Really? Okay. Well, I knew someone from the Seahawks would win because they obviously dominated the game and overwhelmingly won it. They did a great job for Seattle. But yeah, that's amazing that somebody got that in there, and that's been all over the news today. That's wonderful. I couldn't be happier. I tip my hat to that gentleman that had the courage to do that and get people talking and thinking about stuff and getting the lemmings to wake up there.
Well, it shows, Governor, as you know, the power of the individual. As somebody who called national NFL games on television and also there locally for the fans, what was it like for you to watch this? I think this was one of the most boring Super Bowls ever, and then watching with TSA grope people and the gunships and the snipers. This did not look like America. It looked like East Germany and Checkpoint Charlie.
Well, that's why I do my show, is the fact that I'm outside the grid. I'm outside the United States broadcasting in because the United States is getting like East Berlin. They're taking away our rights and freedoms. People need to understand that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights are there to protect the people against the government. Those are our documents that ensure our freedom. And when the government starts to violate those documents, we can't allow that to happen. It's that simple because that's what makes our country the great nation that it is. And for this guy to penetrate the Super Bowl and be able to stay on national TV, 9/11 was an inside job, and now they're all up and outraged and irate. It'll be interesting to see what the end results of this and the backlash of this is. Will people become more aware but they're going to try to marginalize this guy and say that he's some sort of nutcase naturally.
Well, if you go up to Google and put in 9/11 Inside Job and click news, there are literally thousands of articles all over the world, TV. They are taking what he did, kind of like when I got on Piers Morgan, and just putting it everywhere. Those 15 seconds literally just showed what a fraud the whole thing is. What is your angle on the fact that, I think it shows that it's total security theater that this guy was able to do that?
Well, it shows how vulnerable everything is, though, too, Alex, because you think at the Super Bowl, that would be a lockdown situation. How protected was the Super Bowl yesterday? They really had helicopters flying around, and was it truly that difficult to get in? Would you have to go through 3 metal detectors?
Let me break it down. Jakari Jackson, our reporter, along with our camera guy, who had to leave their cameras behind, obviously, that were there for 3 days before and during covering it. And I had to buy them, by the time we got tickets, $1,700 for nosebleeds almost at the very back of that giant stadium. They do not allow cabs to get within a mile of it. They do not allow taxis. They do not allow limos. You have to get on a train and wait 2 hours each time on trains. People collapsed inside the train, sitting there for hours in the heat because they had heaters on. That was on the in the news. They would then bus you, and it would then take another 2 hours after the train gets there to go through security, where they search your bags, grope your body, metal detector you, and then do it again, as you just said. But then no one ever scanned or checked their ticket, ever. Not even getting on the train. It was ultra bizarre. Jakari was like, well, wait a minute. There was all this security, but there was no security. And there were men with machine guns everywhere, police dogs, snipers, gunboats, 5 helicopters, jets flying over that weren't even... Yeah.
Alex, the question needs to be asked this, and this is what I believe the people need to be asking the government, is why, if we're indeed that vulnerable and we're really that much under attack that the United States is now turning into East Berlin with its security precautions, we need to ask the million-dollar question. Why? What have we done? And I'll repeat that. What have we done to incur the anger of people throughout the world to this extent? Because that's what we need to be looking at. What is causing people United States to the extent that they are. We used to be looked up to. Everywhere in the world used to look up and try to emulate the United States of America. They all wanted to be us. They all wanted that. But today, there's nobody doing that anymore. And if we have to lock down our country for fear of attack from some unknown entities, well, then we need to start looking in the mirror saying, what are we doing that is causing this type of behavior throughout the world? Because, we certainly didn't have to protect our Super Bowls 20 years ago like this. I mean, naturally, there's always been some type of security at every event. But as you stated, the security was to make sure people had tickets. Because it used to be you had to worry about scalpers and people sneaking in.
Well, and you had real police out there who knew what to look for. You know what it is, Governor. It's about training us to be slaves, training us for the police state, training us for a lockdown America during a financial collapse. Why do you think they're setting up what I would call classical incremental martial law? What do you think it's in preparation for, Jesse Ventura?
Well, it troubles me greatly because obviously somebody feels there's going to be a need for martial law.
That's right.
And I can't for the life of me figure out if our society is what we deem it to be, why there would ever be a need for martial law. What in the United States of America, people need to wake up and realize that they have, each of us as individuals have about as much chance of being attacked by a terrorist as we do winning the Powerball. And yet, we're preparing like some sort of Al-Qaeda invasion of Normandy is going to happen at Virginia Beach, Virginia. And it's insane. And I have to agree with you, Alex. The people in the know must be preparing for something that they sure don't want us to know about, because this lockdown of America over 9/11 and over the Patriot Act is utterly absurd. It's time to get rid of the Patriot Act and take the country back to what it used to be, instead of this police state they're turning it into.
My issue is they just keep accelerating it to where more and more it sounds like a good idea to leave the country like you've done. Shifting gears, I believe, as you've said, getting off the grid, becoming self-sufficient, that's how you make sure you can't be domesticated. This system wants you on food stamps. It wants you dependent. It wants you scared, not having your own guns, with police all around with guns. They want us domesticated. So I want to spend a few minutes before we get back into the news and this latest overdose and the heroin out of Afghanistan. I want to ask Governor Jesse Ventura, because I had a lot of fun being on your show last week, uncensored, and it was just great. I was on Skype. You were on Skype. Felt like I was there in the room with you. Spend a few minutes talking about some of the shows you're doing. You're doing them, 4 days a week at least, and some of the stuff that's coming up, because, this is the type of show that I personally am going to be watching.
Well, it's fun for me, Alex, because as you know, since I left office, I've had a very difficult time getting my message out there. You stated earlier, Fox News won't have me on, MSNBC won't have me on. CNN allows me on a little bit. My last book, because it dealt with the Kennedy killing, none of the major networks would have me on, not NBC, not ABC, not CBS, Fox, none of them. And I've always, since I got out of office in 2003, when I had that debacle that happened at MSNBC, where they wouldn't put me on the air because I opposed the war in Iraq, and they paid me for 3 years and literally handcuffed me and kept me off the air. Since then, I've been fighting to find a way. How can I talk to the American people unfiltered? How can I talk to the American people without it being on these stations that decide whether I can come on or not? And Aura.com has come forward, and it actually happened while I was on a book tour. I did Larry King, and I thought Larry had retired. I thought Larry left CNN. I didn't know that he was on the Internet. I said, Larry, what are you doing? He said, I'm on the Internet. You need to be on this. And that's how it all started. Aura TV does Larry King, and they got interested then in me, and they felt I was a voice that needed to be heard. And the important thing is the owner of the company is not from the United States of America, so therefore he has no dog in the fight when I want to criticize our policy and be an engaged American citizen and be vigilant, a term that I've been using from the start that I like to assume President Obama stole from me for the State of the Union address, because lo and behold, he also used the term vigilant. And this show has offered me that ability and to be able to, and I thought to myself, I've been inside the United States yelling and screaming from the inside out, and nobody seems to want to listen. Maybe it'll work better from the outside going in. So that's what it's done for me doing this show. I can't tell you how happy I am. Uncensored, any topics I want to talk about. And, of course, it's on the Internet, so shows are roughly only 8 to 12 minutes long because that's the style of the Internet. They're more quick hits. You're not going to have an hour and a half long show that's going to work that well, I don't think. So it works out terrific for me, and it lets me live in sheer freedom down here. And we'll be moving it about, too, the show, Alex. We don't want them to get a pinpoint on us. We don't want them finding us with drones. So we'll be doing the show from different locations off the grid. We'll keep them guessing.
Well, it's just really exciting, the revolution of true independent media. Larry King, when they kicked him off 3 years ago, had 2 million listeners, viewers a night. Piers Morgan, and I know you know him, he has you on, it's down to about 400,000. MSNBC has gone from 1 million down to about 300,000. I mean, back when you were on MSNBC, they had 5 million viewers, 10 million viewers some nights. Mainstream media isn't just dying because of the Internet, because my show is just exploding, and many others are. It's the content. But they're still, Larry King wasn't controllable enough for them, so they got him off CNN. And it just shows, what do you, Jesse Ventura, you're a smart guy, you're savvy. Where do you see the media wars going? Where do you see the establishment going? Where do you see all the new banker bailouts, all the corruption? What is your gut about where the future of humanity is going?
Well, to me, when you're talking communications, it's the Internet. It's taking over so strong now. That's why I'm on it, the freedom of being on it. And you can rest assured the government is going to try to get control of it. They've got to, from their perspective. If they're going to control us, they got to control the Internet. I personally hope they never, ever get control of it. I love the freedom of it. It falls right under freedom of speech, our First Amendment and the Bill of Rights. We have the right to speak freely. And the Bill of Rights, freedom of speech, as I've said so often, it's there to protect unpopular speech. Because popular speech doesn't need protecting. It's unpopular speech that needs protecting.
That's right.
Or speech that goes against the status quo. It may be minority speech you're talking about here. Excuse me. Something that the majority doesn't necessarily can control. And that's what's important about the Internet.
Well, that's right.
And so, Alex, I think the Internet, and I'm probably being very liberal here, I see the Internet taking over all communications within a decade.
Oh, I agree. Totally. No, I think you're right. Maybe 5, 6 years. The way it's going. But cybersecurity, Homeland Security, they admit with big media, they want to censor it, track it, tax it, web ID it, and geolocate it, geofilter it, so that they can kill competition because these guys can't compete with us, Governor.
Well, and that may be the case. It's like the old saying from Deep Throat, Alex, follow the money. The money will lead you. Money is what gets government to react. Money, money, money. If there's money to be made, government wants a piece of it. On another note, we'll switch gears here. Again, I want to talk about, this makes a good transition to the war on drugs that you wanted to talk about. I'm so proud of the states of Washington and Colorado, the 2 Super Bowl participants, but I'm even more proud of them, not for their Super Bowl football teams. I'm proud of them because they have voted, the people in those states, to legalize marijuana and strike a blow against this war on drugs that in a free society should never be happening. Drug addiction should be treated medically. Addiction should be treated medically, not criminally. You can be addicted to anything. People, imagine the addiction to coffee. Now, and that's a powerful addiction. I remember when I was in the Navy. If you didn't make the coffee, the chiefs were ready to hang you from the yardarm. And I never drink coffee. I've never been a coffee addict. But when you watch people not get their morning cup of coffee and you watch how it affects them in their daily life, clearly it's a powerful addiction. Well, again, addiction, you can be addicted to Hostess Twinkies, for that matter.
Exactly. You're not going to arrest people for sugar, though now Bloomberg the outgoing mayor wants that. Let me shift gears before we get into the drugs, because I want to tie it in. We're about to go to break. I want to come back and talk about the dead actor who I was a fan of. He was a great actor, and this super heroine that killed him, and tie it in, to how the drugs are being shipped in from Afghanistan, and get your take on that. But since you mentioned censorship of journalism and the internet, as you know, we'll put the LA Times article on screen. Los Angeles Times, who's a journalist, Senator Dianne Feinstein, wants to draw a line and literally shut down bloggers, talk radio, you name it, and not let us have journalistic protections. She's absolutely a monster. And you've got John D. Rockefeller, the senator from West Virginia, saying, quote, we'd be better off if the internet was never invented. So I agree with you. And I remember calling you the night and calling Tyrell the night. I'd never done this on the TV show, even though I was involved in, at that time, 10 episodes of the 16 or so that had been on. And I'll never forget calling you as a consultant and saying, Governor, I just want to say congratulations for putting the most powerful television on ever. Your FEMA special exposes the whole takeover plan, the whole plan with the FEMA centers. I cannot believe this got on air with almost 2 million viewers, record views for a new show on True TV. Then Congress gets involved. All of it happens. The way you skewered that congressman, and they killed it airing again when they normally air it 50 more times, so it's seen by upwards of 50 million people. Most re-airs have 1 million viewers. Incredible to see that so threatened the establishment that within hours they flipped out. Can you speak to that?
Well, it was, I don't know if you want to call it an honor to be taken down on the congressional floor, but that's what actually happened. Congressman Cohn, the guy who co-sponsored the bill to build these FEMA camps, actually chastised me and my show on the floors of Congress. And I guess I should take that for a compliment to get that far. But you're right. That show never aired again. They then removed it and wouldn't even acknowledge that we did it.
They took it off TiVo. They took it off the cable servers.
Oh, yeah, they did all that. So people out there that believe that we're not already being operated under a certain censorship are naive and sadly mistaken, and they better wake up to the fact that, even a show like mine, when it comes out and tells the truth on a particular subject, if it offends too many of the status quo or the government, they'll step in and do what they did to that show and basically remove it so that more people can't ever see it. But it's still out there, because the great thing about the internet today is once it's shown once, it's going to be somewhere.
Well, we're going to break, but I want to come back and get into the drug war, other key issues that you're focused on. But I wanted to raise that because people better appreciate PrisonPlanet.tv, the InfoWars Nightly News, our subscription service. They better appreciate Governor Ventura and ORA.TV /Off the Grid, Aura TV. They better appreciate that Ventura 4 days a week is producing a show, that 6 days a week we're doing it. It's hard work. We're all in this together. We love freedom is why we do it. But it's not pearls before swine. Understand, folks, we're busting our butt, and the enemy, the establishment, does not like this. We've gone through a lot of trouble, a lot of threats, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff Ventura doesn't want people to even know about, and that's fine. I won't talk about it. I've been through it, too, so we're brothers in arms in those shared experiences of trying to use our First Amendment and being so effective. Look at all the JFK people that have been killed or targeted. I want to talk about that with Ventura as well when we come back. But this is serious. This is war, so support us. Everybody can see the fact that I've lost another 10 pounds, and all I've got is a little bit of fat on my belly, and I'm going to be like I was when I was 25 again. I am very, very close, and I couldn't do it without Dr. Group telling me that most iodines are not true nascent iodine, and coming out with our own nascent, it turns blue, purple on paper, not black or red. That's the color of the real iodine crystals. This stuff absolutely helps the glands produce all the normal hormones you need that are so suppressed from estrogen mimickers, you name it. It has done so much for my circulation, so much for my clarity. I was on Coast to Coast AM last night. I went to sleep at 3:30 in the morning. I did my own radio show Sunday. I've had 3 hours sleep, got up and worked out this morning. Got in here. I'm telling you, folks, you've heard the rave reviews for our Nascent Iodine Survival Shield at InfoWarsLife.com. We've got the fluoride shield with 5 other ingredients with the Nascent Iodine to detox the fluoride, everything else. It's incredible. We've had this out, I don't know, 3-4 months. In fact, you guys bring me my iodine. Oh, here it is. This bottle's almost empty. I'm going to take some right now. And this also supports the broadcast and everything we do. Just take the challenge. Get a bottle of this. Talk to it doesn't taste like the horrible iodine. It tastes good because it's real iodine. Well, I think it tastes good. It tastes kind of like blood or something. But the point is that I've gotten addicted to it. And despite my super hard lifestyle, I mean, a total type A personality, I'm telling you, we went out and did deep research. We've only got three things out in the last 6 months because I won't put crap out. I take more than recommended FDA allowance. InfoWarsLife.com. Talk to your physician. Take the recommended amount because you will detox in the first month. So talk to your healthcare provider. But we also have the Super Male Vitality with, 8 of the key herbs known to not mimic testosterone, but let your body release its own and block all the estrogen mimickers. That's what I've been doing. And the only problem is I'm even more crazed than usual. So, again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Or simply go, again, to InfoWarsStore.com. That will take you there as well. And I want to thank you all for your support. Now, going back to former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura, who I just admire so much because he's a trailblazer. Like Ron Paul, he never has compromised. He's the real deal. And that's why the media tries to attack him and say, oh, he's not the real deal. Because just like they do with Rand Paul and people, because he is the real deal. And I want to read this quote before we get into the drug war. And the fact that Jesse Ventura wouldn't be censored on MSNBC and, turned down his top-rated. He had the top-rated show on there. Then they got rid of the other guy that had a top-rated show, Donahue. And they're getting rid of everybody. And remember, these are real people that these networks could win with, but they cannot allow the idea of legalizing freedom. But I want to read a famous quote about the man in the arena. And I want all of you to pledge to be men and women in the arena. This is by a former president at the time. He just been out of office in 1910, Teddy Roosevelt. It's the man in the arena. Citizenship in a republic. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, and who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. And, Governor, I want your take on that quote and your philosophy on life. Then we're going to get into the fake drug war.
Well, I agree totally with that. It's what you do in your life and how you conduct it, and you don't have to be a big national leader if you just live day to day and stay a vigilant citizen. Focus on what's happening locally in your local school boards, what happens in your local town, and remain active, because those are the heroes that make the United States the great country it is, are the everyday citizens that take part in the creation of this great country and keeping it running like it is. And, Alex, we're just lucky that we're the people that seem to have a voice and can be heard, but we really need the millions and millions out there to stand up and finally be counted, because if they don't do that, we're going to lose our great country, and it's not going to be the country that you and I were born in. It's certainly not the country that I was born in. And the direction it's heading for me today, it's not the country that I want to die in. And I would like to get it back to being the country I would like to die in someday.
Well, that's right. And you've said that if people get behind a national movement to have you run for president, if they get it lined up and show enough interest, then you'll do it. But you can't do everything. A guy 2 weeks ago ran into a burning house to get his Xbox. And that same week, a guy wouldn't run in his house to get his kids. And I think about people rioting and burning things and tumbling over cars and attacking police in Seattle when the Seahawks won. You know, I wish people would show not that energy for rioting, but that same energy politically for freedom. What's your take on that, Governor?
I agree. You know, people need to get more motivated. Let's remember something. Football is nothing more than entertainment. And that's the real problem with our country today. We have become an entertainment society now, where entertainment is the most important thing in our lives. And if they look at history, they'll find out that's exactly what happened to the Roman Empire, was they became enhanced with entertainment. Entertainment became the main focus. And, football's great, sports is terrific, and being entertained is a wonderful thing. But if you break your day up, we need to get back concentrating on the real things in life. You know, it used to be you concentrated on working an 8 or 10 hour day. Today, that's the sideline. What people focus on today is, how do I entertain myself that other 4 to 6 hours when I'm not working and I'm not sleeping? And we need to take more pride in our work and more pride in being involved in our communities, helping people out. You know, I often laugh because you hear stories about, you know, I'm an admitted atheist now, and you hear stories about, well, atheists, they don't have values. Yes, we do. And it's the value of every day treating your fellow man, the old golden rule. Treat people the way you would want to be treated. And go out there and get involved, help people. There's nothing more gratifying in the world than helping someone, and you don't need money in which to do it.
Well, and, you know, I respect the fact that we agree on about 95% of stuff, but I totally get the fact that the churches are so evil and so hypocritical and are a bunch of Pharisees. I don't blame people running the opposite direction from these institutions. And I know you're a moral person who genuinely cares about humanity from a human perspective, and I admire that. And that's what it's all about. The people that shake their finger at each other and just want to infight over religion, you know, are the hypocrites. And if they let a better example out there, you know, people wouldn't see them for the disgusting hypocrites they are. Now, shifting gears again, you mentioned the drug war. What a battle with all 14 states trying to decriminalize or legalize marijuana, Obama doing all the raids. Whatever happened to states' rights? Obama claimed he was going to decriminalize marijuana, another lie. Give us your take on what I cut you off about before the break. And then I want to tie it into this actor who had heroin laced with painkiller. I can't pronounce this. How do you say it? Fentanyl. Takes toll on Pennsylvania, killing people. And they're also getting almost pure heroin out of Afghanistan. 10-fold increase on heroin going into Western Europe and the U.S. since the liberation of Afghanistan 12 years ago. Philip Seymour Hoffman was found dead in New York City with a needle in his arm. And I'm just, Mike Adams has a great article at naturalnews.com. It's also on Infowars.com. Overdose death of Hoffman underscores urgent need to decriminalize and regulate recreational drugs. Northern Europe, 5 countries there have decriminalized heroin, so you can get medical grade in controlled dosages, and almost no overdoses are happening now, and drug use has gone down by 50% because you take the black market out of it. Everything you've said. Governor, give us your take on all this.
Absolutely. You know, when it's like my mother said to me, my mom passed away back in 1995, but she lived through the prohibition of alcohol when they went through that nonsense way back in the 20s and early 30s where they prohibited alcohol. And my mom's observation was, she told me, she said, the war on drugs is identical to the prohibition of alcohol. All you're doing is making criminals rich and powerful. And that's precisely it. Clearly, some people within our government are profiting greatly from keeping drugs illegal. By smuggling them in, the prices are then 10 times higher than they'd normally be. I mean, let's look at tobacco and alcohol. Those two are drugs. There's no doubt about it, but for some reason they separate them from all the other ones because, number one, they're legal. Well, tobacco and alcohol causes much damage or more damage than all the, quote, illegal drugs do combined. More people die from alcohol and tobacco every year than what die from any of these other drugs. In fact, illegal drugs, medical prescription drugs, more people die from those. Overdoses of drugs you get from your doctor than die from these alleged illegal recreational drugs. And the point of the matter is, if you live in a free society, drug addiction is a medical problem. Why we have chose to make it a criminal problem, I have no idea. Why we somehow think you should take an addict and throw them in prison is beyond me. You can achieve so much more by legalizing it, taxing it, using those revenues. Then you get a hold on who the addicts are, and you can attempt to cure them. You can attempt to make them good, citizens who are productive again. And they won't have to be out buying addictive substances that are charged 10 times more than what they should cost. And that leads to other crime. If an addict has to fulfill his addiction and the price is 10 times, you don't see people robbing stores at gunpoint tobacco and alcohol. Well, the same thing would hold true if the other drugs are put at a decent price. You put them in hospitals and in pharmacies and places. You don't sell them in 7-Eleven stores, but you put them in places where people can come, admit their addiction, be able to buy what they need. Then you at least get a grasp on, okay, now can we wean this person off of the drug? And I think that in 9 times out of 10, the addict would go for that. The addict would go to stop being controlled by this drug. But the only way that's going to happen is through legalization. It's not going to happen through prohibition, and people need to wake up to that fact.
That could be a university dissertation. I know you taught at Harvard. That was perfectly said with all the facts. I mean, look at prohibition ending, in the early 30s, and the police had been corrupted. Alcoholism had tripled. Billions had been made by the mafia and corrupt groups and Joe Kennedy. And so they literally went and lobbied the well-meaning Christian PTAs and people to go all over the country and get drug laws, state and federal, passed, where they'd put you in jail for 20 years for a marijuana cigarette, so that they had something new to deal. And then women need it because it's so expensive, so they become prostitutes, and the local government thugs can run that. I mean, this is all a racket, and everybody knows it. And I don't see how long the drug war can go, as the public, all the polls show, want decriminalization across the board, Jesse.
Well, then what you've got to do, Alex, is simple. You have to start electing people that agree with that position. I remember when I ran for governor of Minnesota, during the election, I made a simple statement. I said, it's time to look at legalizing drugs and prostitution. Oh, my God. The head of the Independence Party of Minnesota went ballistic. She thought I had blown the whole election. She goes, oh, we were contending. Now he opened his mouth on drugs and prostitution. We're going to lose the election. It's all lost. And I'll never forget my partner, Dean Barkley, who was instrumental in getting me to run for governor. Dean walked into the room and sat down and smiled very calmly and says, look, how do we take this lemon and turn it into lemonade? And he came up with a great idea, and it worked. He said, we're going to come out here with the position, Jesse Ventura is the only candidate with the courage to talk about these real issues, because drug addiction is real, prostitution is real, and he's not afraid to discuss real live situations and what the regular public knows.
But I mean, exactly. There's women everywhere that you take them out to dinner and you pay their bills. They don't call that prostitution. And what makes it horrible, and I'm not endorsing it, is the fact that there are pimps. It is illegal. These women are being suppressed by it being a black market, and all the studies show that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Alex, when you look at prostitution and you strip it all away, okay, in our free society, any sexual act between two consenting adults is legal. So the only illegality about prostitution, the government's not getting the cut. They're not paying taxes. The government wants to be the pimp. They need their cut. And so, that's all part of it too. Follow the money. How the sex act itself is not illegal, so clearly it's the money. And then you run into a different scenario. Let's take a pornographic actor, someone who does pornography on TV for money. Is that not having sex for money? How is it they're not arrested? Is that not considered prostitution? They're having sex, and they're getting paid to do it. It's just that they're doing it on film, so I guess it's considered an artistic form.
Well said. So bottom line is...
pornography is not illegal and prostitution is. How can that be?
Well, I just know all the studies from around the world. It's incontrovertible. You make something illegal that's a vice that doesn't hurt non-consenting people. You then make it dark, make it corrupt, make it black market, put tons of money into it, and now the mafia and the corrupt government and the police get to run it. And that's why they want it illegal, so that they can run it on the dark side, period.
Well, and it's also so that the prices will go up. Because
that's right.
Anything that's legal, the price drops. You watch in Colorado and Washington how eventually the price of marijuana is going to drop there where it's legal, because there will be competition. There will be growers of marijuana who will decide, you know what, I'll undercut more then because my marijuana will be cheaper. And that's called good, clean competition in capitalism. That's what drives prices down is competition. And by legalizing marijuana, and then let's look at it from a different standpoint. For those that think Jesse might be crazy or Alex is crazy, marijuana itself is the best that you can get for creating biodiesel fuel. And then we can stop using corn and use marijuana and let corn be what it's supposed to be.
Well, that's right. Hemp grows everywhere as well, and most strains don't even have THC. Final segment with Jesse Ventura, and we've got the exclusive. I'll hold him into the next hour after Ventura has to go. But, Jesse, you're going to get a chance to talk to Matthew Mills on the other side. He's a listener, and we were able to get him on, the guy that took over the NFL post-game Super Bowl Sunday, showed us that there basically is no such thing as security. He's coming up with Jesse Ventura.
Investigate 9/11. 9/11 was perpetrated by people within our own government.
And just those 15 seconds have now become a sensation all over the news as they attack him. But as it causes the debate, I'm going to hold him a little bit in the next hour after Governor Jesse Ventura leaves us. But Jesse, he's a listener. He's been able to get in, and we're going to talk to Matthew Mills. What do you want to say to him, Governor?
Well, Matthew, I want to say, unbelievable the courage you show, and good for you to speak your mind. I would ask this question of what are they going to do to you, or what are they doing to you for what you just did?
Am I on the air right now?
Yes, you are. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
I don't think they're going to do much to me. I only got like a summons, a ticket, and I don't even think it's for that much money. They grilled me for a while. They were really, really intense. It was pretty much everything but the spotlight in my face. They were real. The one guy actually said he wanted to punch me in my jaw. So they were kind of mad, but I don't think I'm going to get in any big trouble.
Well, that's amazing. What's been the repercussion for you? Are there media that want to talk to you, or are they marginalizing you and not talking to you?
Well, I got a bunch of calls yesterday, but I was in the holding cell in the stadium until pretty late at night, until pretty much the stadium closed. And I had a bunch of texts and calls, and then one guy I finally answered. It was from NJ.com, and he just asked me some questions, and I was candid with him. And,
that's right. You got interviewed by the New Jersey local paper there in the main city. Listen, can you hold, and after the governor leaves us, I'm going to come back and debrief you on air?
Sure.
All right, thank you for calling in. Our listener taking action. He's done work with We Are Change in the past as well, and he is one hell of an info warrior. I tell you, it's great to be part of this family of freedom fighters, Jesse.
Oh, I'll tell you, this kid had courage and guts to do what he did, and that's remarkable because just those simple words he said, and now the media jumping all over it is bringing it back into the forefront, back to the attention of the people throughout the world, which is a good thing because we've never gotten resolution on 9/11, just as we've never gotten it on the murder of John Kennedy. And that's enough of this crap. We deserve to know the truth.
Oh, by the way, I went to Dallas. The Dallas police didn't follow the orders of the mayor to have anybody handing out flyers anywhere downtown to be arrested. So they Homeland Security hired sheriff's deputies to basically punch us and attack us on video. I don't know if you heard about that, but it was online and made national news. This was after the memorial and everybody was gone. The police opened up the barricade, said you can go in now to downtown, and the feds had sheriff's deputies attack us.
Well, and all of that because we don't believe the official story?
Well, it's just like they censored your TV show. It's just like they're afraid of the information, which shows we have power.
I'll tell you, it's amazing that they still try to perpetrate this myth on killing of Kennedy. I mean, anybody today who believes Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone is completely naive. There's so much fact out there. There's so much you can learn about it to know that it's not true. And I always tell people it's the most important thing because that's what's led to where we're at today. Had Jack Kennedy lived, I believe we would be living in a different world than what we live in today. They killed everybody that stood for peace because obviously there are people in the world that do not want peace. They want war. And it's that simple, Alex.
Great way to end it. The TV show's on aura.tv/off the grid. You can also just Google Jesse Ventura YouTube. He's got Facebook, all of it. We have it all linked up on Infowars.com. Governor, look forward to seeing you when you're back in the States, and I'll take you up on the invitation to come down and see you in Mexico. Say hi to your wife and family for me.
Thank you, Alex. Just when you come down, though, don't bring no drones with you.
We'll see you off the grid, Governor.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care. We'll be right back with the man that took over the Super Bowl. Wow, well, it's him, and we've got him on, and I am very, very honored that he's a listener and was able to call in to the transmission. Super Bowl hijack proves government cannot protect you. Man penetrates multi-million-dollar security ring with excuses and fake pass, and he is a listener, and he is on, and it is Matthew Mills, 30-year-old, now making international news. And, of course, there's also videos of him online when he talked to Tom Brokaw and others asking him questions. I want to give you the floor in this segment and the next to tell the whole story, why you did it, how you thought it up. And, I mean, if people start doing what you've done across the board on Obamacare, on gun control, on stage terror, it's over. So, Matthew Mills, start from the beginning here with a big exclusive interview, the man who took over the Super Bowl MVP press conference. Go ahead.
Well, I definitely didn't I definitely didn't think up this idea. I just went to the Super Bowl to go interview people outside the stadium about. Well, I was going to ask people about the Illuminati symbolism in the last two Super Bowl halftime shows. That's what I went there for, just to interview other people. But when I got there, I had to make up the story even to get to the Super Bowl by saying I was an employee because they wouldn't let people without tickets there. So I had to say that. And then I tried to get a little further, and I just kept on using that same excuse, and I was really surprised I got in. And that's pretty much it. I spent the whole time, I was in the stadium since about 1:30 in the afternoon, just hanging out, and watched the game, and I was planning on actually running down on the field and during the celebration after the game and grabbing one of their mics. But then I saw the press box, and I went in there, and I just stayed in there, and I was in there from the end of the third quarter until when you saw me grab the mic.
Keep going.
Sorry.
No, I mean, if I start talking, I'm going to run over you. Go.
No. I mean, that's pretty much it. I used my press pass and said I was late for work through each gate. It was like 4 gates. Fifth one for the press box or the press room, and that was pretty much it. It wasn't really that hard. I mean, I just pretty much acted like I was late for work and I had to get in, and that's pretty much it.
Oh no, it must be staged. No one can infiltrate anything. Alex didn't sneak into Bohemian Grove. They let him in. No one can do anything. No, the truth is we can all do something. And I started infiltrating press conferences and speeches and events under Clinton over Waco and Oklahoma City. And then We Are Change, finally somebody started imitating it, and they've done a great job, and you were part of that. Now you're doing it on your own. And I just think what you're doing is so wonderful, my friend, and is just so incredibly exciting that you've done this. So I want to go to break in the long segment, and then after you leave us at 20 after, I promise I'll go to Peggy and Eric and Tony and Dean, everybody that's holding. But I want to describe, once you did it, play by play, how they grabbed you, what they did, what they said to you, how they held you, what the citation or summons says that you were given. I want to blow by blow break all this down with you on the other side. But are you invigorated now that it's drawing so much attention to the inside job?
Yeah, well, I'm glad. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that it looked a lot better than I thought it looked. I didn't even remember doing it. So once I looked I didn't even see the video till about really like an hour and a half, like 2 hours ago. I only sort of saw it.
So you just got out. Like. So you got in the zone. I mean, what happened? You were just planning on trying to bring up real issues, and you just got in there and got on the employee bus, and boom.
I got in there, and I wanted to just ask Super Bowl goers about the Illuminati rituals in the last two Super Bowls. That's the only reason I went there. I was making a video about the satanic rituals for the past two Super Bowls.
Let's talk about that when we come back, too. Yeah, Bruno Mars did the whole thing again. All of it. It's all sex rituals with satanic lyrics with little kids up there, inducting children into it in front of everyone. They think the public's so stupid. We'll be right back with the man who's taken the info war to the enemy straight ahead in a moment But first off, up on prisonplanet.com and Infowars.com, breaking a new Mark Dice video. Democratic Californian students, you can guarantee that, students signed petition to have gun owners executed in concentration camps. He talks to people that speak clear English, understand everything he's saying, and one after the other says, we want to execute gun owners in camps. And they will execute us in camps if an authority figure tells them to. Another one, racist black thugs beat up white hippies in Austin in front of the police station. Where is Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and Oprah Winfrey? That story is up there right now. We should probably just have a subheadline pointing out it was in front of the police station. The article points out the trend of this happening. Simply amazing. Also, weird but true, Netflix, Skype Kindle, predicted in 1965. That's a Paul Joseph Watson article. Super Bowl Sunday shows us there's no Al-Qaeda threat. No, the threat's the government power grabbing. Well, there is an Al-Qaeda threat overseas. Our government runs it. Super Bowl hijack proves government cannot protect you. That's what we're about to cover right now. Video recorder deleted files with NSA backup. It's pretty amazing. And decadence. Seahawks fans run riot after Super Bowl victory. Americans only get excited about sports and Black Friday sales. And again, Bruno Mars, Illuminati halftime show decoded. That's another video up on Infowars.com right now. Now, the story is up on the site. Super Bowl hijack proves government cannot protect you. I think that's a big issue here to show it's all theater. They don't even let cars get near it. You have to go on trains. You get frisked over and over again. There's cops strutting around with submachine guns, bugging their eyes out at you in New Jersey where they're trying to disarm the public. It's ridiculous. And then 30-year-old Matthew Mills, tell us about yourself and the other citizen journalism you've done, asking real questions of Tom Brokaw and so many others over the years. I thought I recognized you when I saw this. I was up here at 2 in the morning, and I kept seeing on Infowars.com comments saying, man, did you see the guy that took over the Super Bowl with Inside Job, 9/11? And so I went and searched that on YouTube, and there it was. And I shot a video at 2 a.m. when I got off, 2 hours of radio, and put it up. And then I said, I bet that guy's a listener. And then this morning we discovered that you had made web posts and stuff talking about the show before and had done stuff with We Are Change. So we salute the work you're doing. It's amazing. Tell us about some of your other confrontations, what you've done, and then play-by-play, describe what went on your mind, what happened, what they did to you when they held you, what the ticket says, because the media is going to want this testimony here, and it's important you give it so they can't spin it and lie about you. So Matthew Mills, break it down for us.
Well, if anyone wants to see my other confrontations and other journalistic work, they should see my YouTube channel, which is Mills Most. I'm going to be releasing Super Bowl footage on Mills Most. They deleted all my footage off the SD card, but I have someone coming to the house right now to restore it, apparently. So hopefully he can do that. And if we can restore that footage, I'm going to release a bunch of stuff because I had the camera on the whole time when I walked away from the mic. And so I got all that, what they were saying to me. So hopefully I don't even need to describe to you what they said. I'll have it on footage. And what were the other questions?
No, just break it all down. I mean, tell us what you intended to do, what unfolded. First off, tell us about some of the other people that you've gone and asked real questions of.
Once I actually got into the Super Bowl, plans changed, and I decided I was going to, do something like that, and I was going to run down on the field and do something. But then I decided to go to the press room. And as far as the summons, it doesn't say amount on here. I don't know what I owe. It says a court appearance is not required, so it doesn't seem like it's really that bad.
And what are they claiming you did?
It's criminal trespassing, and I'm banned from the Meadowlands for life, and apparently I'm banned from the NFL for life. And the NFL is going to be getting in contact with me about some security issues, maybe.
They're just going to try to use that data in case they want to sue you. I wouldn't talk to them to get a lawyer. And I would, they say no court appearance needed. Well, that's because they don't want you to challenge it. Go challenge the trespass and just say that, the truth. You wandered in there wanting to ask real questions at a citizen journalist. They let you in. And they didn't have no trespassing signs. That's their issue. Did you buy a ticket to get in, period?
I bought no ticket.
Yeah, they might try something then, but it doesn't matter. You're going to have to fight it in court. You do not want a criminal trespass. That could be a felony. They just don't want you to know that. So I would get counsel.
Okay, I will. And, yeah, so, I mean, that's that. And
describe how you got through the multi-billion-dollar security, because it's tens of millions they spent on this, but this is a billion-dollar fraud system they've built. I mean, describe it.
I just used the line of I'm late for work and I have no time to talk. And I just had that attitude. And I got by 5 gates with the same thing.
Which is true. You're doing the work of the Lord, free speech, asking real questions. It's just,
yeah. So then I got in and it was cool because, I got to see the Super Bowl, which, I got to see Peyton Manning. He's kind of a cool guy. And so that was fun, and so I spent the time in there, and I asked people all day.
Oh, so you met Peyton Manning?
No, I didn't meet Peyton Manning. The whole time I was in there, I was asking people about the Illuminati symbolism with the last 2 Super Bowls, but they erased all that footage, so I need to get all that footage back. That's all I was doing, and then the opportunity arose where I got to go in the press room, and then the MVP came out, and I was right there, so I said, F it, and I did it.
The secret when you're doing something like this is you have a loop of electrical tape in your pocket, and then you put the SD card on that and literally stick it on the inside of your underwear. And then you have another SD card you keep using and then hiding them in your underwear, because even a basic frisk, they won't find them. That's how you get out with the footage.
That's a really good idea.
And that's what, just a little loop of tape you put on the outside of the underwear or whatever. I tend to say the inside. And you can just literally stick it around your waistband and have the SD cards right there. That's how you get over the enemy.
Cool.
So keep breaking it down. So like all we see is you go off the stage. What happens next?
Well, they got me and they grabbed me by the shirt and they said, "Come over here. Where's your pass?" They opened up my jacket. They saw I had this other pass. They said, "What is this? Where is your pass?" I said, "I don't have a pass." They said, "How'd you get in?" I said, "I just came in. I just walked in." They said, "Who let you in?" I said, "The 2 guys out there. They just let me in." And then they said, "How'd you get in?" I said, "I took it to the Super Bowl." So I was still lying to them at that point. I
would just tell them it's part of your Obamacare. You were given free tickets by Obama. Go ahead.
Yes, so maybe I shouldn't have lied like that. So I was still saying I got into the Super Bowl. They said, "Where's your ticket?" I said, "My girlfriend has it." They said, "Where's your girlfriend?" I said, "Her phone's dead." And then they took me back. I was back in the precinct down there in MetLife Stadium. And they called my girlfriend because they found her number on my phone, and she had no idea any of this was going on, so she just totally spilled the beans. So then I just came clean with everything, and that was that. And they were pretty angry back there. They were very FBI-ish. They had these 2 guys. They were Brooklyn accents, older gentlemen. Seemed like something like a Law and Order type thing. They were very like I
love how all the we're seeing some of the footage you were able to upload before they got your card, later at night. And it's just all the security people are just acting like they're so powerful and like they're all little secret agents. Meanwhile, their bosses, the government, stage 9/11, runs al-Qaeda publicly. Hey, how do you feel being a 9/11 truther now that it's so public that our government runs al-Qaeda and is giving them weapons and protecting them all over the world so that they can continue all these wars and have no-bid contracts? I mean, we're totally vindicated here.
One of the cops that was taking my information was a 9/11 truther. He told me when no one was in the room with me. I'm not going to mention his name. He said, "I believe in this stuff too." And he was the one that was nicest to me, and he was trying to get me out of there, probably because he was a little more awake.
Well, yeah, because you've got to be a moron not to know they blew up all those towers, including, they said, "Get back, we're blowing it up." I have the deputy emergency manager in New York on who said, no, they said, "Get out, they're going to blow it up." And they killed him a week later. They just said, "Oh, Barry Jennings, he's dead now." And then the family we think they witness protection him, actually, because it was like, he's dead, family moves out, no one will talk, all these black vans at the house, or they got the whole. What do you think about that?
There's so much to think about everything that I can't give you an intelligent answer for that. I think it's crazy. I don't want to.
It's amazing. So how long were you in the custody?
I was probably back there. I got arrested way after the end of the game. I was probably back there for a good 3 hours, at least 3.5. I was there to the end, pretty much like the stadium started shutting down. Like they kept me there until pretty much they couldn't keep me there almost.
And then they said, what, you're lucky we didn't arrest you, or what happened? So 3 in the morning. I mean, what did they say to you when they finally let you go?
They walked me out. They said, there's a train. They told me to get lost pretty much.
Well, you've done an incredible job. You know, I want to get you back on the nightly news tonight. Do you have Skype?
Your radio show? Because I don't have your radio show. I get my Alex Jones info from YouTube. Somebody texted me. Some random guy texted me. I don't know his name. And he said, and so I just want to give a shout out to that guy, whoever that is. Okay.
Absolutely. You watch us on YouTube, not the live show. Do you have Skype?
I do. I can get Skype. It's been a while since I don't typically do Skype that much, but I can. Yeah, I can.
No. I mean, you can do it on your iPhone, whatever. I'd like to have you on the nightly news. Who's doing the news tonight? Is it McAdoo or is it Knight? Yeah, we're going to find out. Listen, I want to get you on the nightly news to really do a proper interview, and I want to do it Skype, okay? Can you do Skype in the next hour or two? We'll tape it for tonight's news.
Yeah, I think I can.
Yeah, because we want to see you and marvel at you. And actually, you know, we're big fans. We're actually fans of real men that infiltrate events and take over. Peggy, and we're going to play clips of Mark Dice. It's up on Infowars.com. But for radio listeners, where the Democrats say, put gun owners in FEMA camps and kill us. And by the way, he didn't talk to 100 people to find this. This is almost every one of them. You go to California, you say, we're going to murder and kill all white people for Obama. Whites will sign a petition. Or if you say, we're going to put all the Jews in ovens for Obama, they will sign the petition. They've done it. Or we're going to put all gun owners in forced labor camps, they'll sign it. So now Dice has gone up and says, we're going to kill all the gun owners in death camps. And they're like, absolutely, let's kill them right now. You sure about that? Oh, buddy, you don't have to tell me. It's time to murder. Because they're liberals. I mean, it makes me want to jump around like the Woody the Woodpecker. I mean, I feel crazy looking at these crazy people. We're going to play that coming up after some calls in the next segment. But right now, finishing up with the man of the hour, truly getting his 15 minutes of fame for something that matters. I mean, I look at that goofy lineman up there going, yeah, I never thought I'd be an MVP. It's so incredible. Meanwhile, a guy with real courage jumps up there and says, 9/11 is an inside job staged by criminal elements of the government. And he joins us now, a listener of the transmission. I had a good feeling that he was a listener. We checked it out online, found some of his work, knew he was. But he's a listener via YouTube, a viewer via YouTube, like so many tens of millions a week are. And he joins us, Matthew Mills. Matthew, closing comments. I just want to tell you, I really admire your work, and you're the kind of stand-up guy. You know, you're the kind of guy we need as an East Coast reporter. We don't have the money to have you full-time, but we can pay you when you go out on events. In the future, you're the type of guy, it'd be cheaper than sending Jakari, who's a great guy, you know, all the way from Texas to the East Coast. Well, maybe we should talk about, we're talking about hiring Sergeant Biggs right now to work for us as a reporter, but as well. But, you know, I think you've got what it takes. Because, you know, you got in there and you did it, buddy. You've got the right stuff, so we salute you. How would you like to go on an assignment at least once a month for us on the East Coast and get paid to do it?
I would love to do it, Alex.
Yeah, I think you're a real kind of guy we need on the team. So, you know, what else is going on, brother? Anything else you want to add?
I think we kind of covered it all.
You know, I'm getting a little bit excited about you right now. I mean, listen, I don't get excited about Peyton Manning and football. I mean, I get excited about what you did. I want to sneak into Bohemian Grove again, or I want to sneak into Skull and Bones. I want to sneak in and expose these corrupt garbage heads. I mean, I love you blowing their operation and watching them run around like chickens with their heads cut off. Do you know what a big fan of you I am right now? Let me hear your war growl right now. Ah!
If me and you get to talk off air, I'll tell you about a couple other things I want to infiltrate. So
I like it. I like that. Anything else, soldier? Anything else you want to tell us?
No, not at all. I appreciate the call. I didn't even know you wanted me to call in. Just like I got some texts, and it's been nice to talk to you. I've been listening to you for a while, and I'm a big fan of your work. So
I'm going to give you an Emperor Palpatine. You've done so well, all right? You have done well, Lord Vader. You like that?
All right. I do.
Okay, good. Anything else? Give us your YouTube, any of your other sites. Go ahead and plug away.
Well, I don't have any other sites, but my YouTube channel is Mills Most, and that's pretty much it. If hopefully I'll be able to retrieve some of this footage, and you can see some of the stuff that happened at the Super Bowl.
And by the way, I mean, you're taking action. You got a video up there with millions of views. I mean, you're really doing a great job. And you're another example of how we're going to defeat the enemy. And people just realize they are the future. They are the resistance. I mean, anybody can do this, folks, if you just decide to grow some guts and take action. And so, again, great job. And you're saying you didn't plan any of this. You were just literally led by the Spirit?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
And you exposed the Illuminati. Listen, tonight, I want you to get into the Illuminati stuff at the Super Bowl as well. You're going to be on with David Knight. He's going to call you right now to set you up in the next 3-4 hours, whenever you can do it, on Skype to do a taped interview for the live news tonight, 7 o'clock Central, prisonplanet.tv. And listen, you are watching and listening to this transmission, Mr. Mills, and you are the resistance. We're going to call you right now, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah! Yeah!
We're on the march.
Yes, we are.
Alex Jones.
We're on the
GCN
march.
Radio Network.
I want to come in with Beowulf. Beowulf. Your instincts are being squandered on football and baseball and going and watching these men that play these sports. And I'm not against these guys. A lot of sports guys are nice people. And it would be okay if it was just a pastime. But it's become our manhood, and we've lost our manhood in the process. We've been gelded by sports. Now, I'm going to go to your phone calls. I appreciate you holding through Ventura. A lot of you were on before he came on, so we're going to you right now. Dean in Virginia, you're on the air worldwide. Thank you for calling today.
My gosh, how do you follow the Super Bowl warrior? But I'm going to give it a try. I mean, like you said, honor, trust, duty, and researching is addicting. I mean, we're all spirits on a human journey. And some people say I'm obsessed. Some people say I'm whacked out. Others just listen. And what I have to say to them is, I consider you Neo. I just offer you the truth. Here's what's been happening in Richmond. This is one of my obsessions. For the last 29 out of 29 precipitation events, they've been preceded by 1 to 3 days of heavy chemtrailing, meaning I'm not talking about 20 or 30. I'm talking about, like yesterday and the day before, hundreds. I looked up last night when it started to rain, and it burned my eyes. Now, there's been some days where it didn't rain, it didn't chemtrail at all. All you see was contrails for 5, 6, 7 days. Then all of a sudden, 1, 2, 50, 60. Next day, hundreds.
And by the way, geoengineering is an admitted fact and going on Department of Energy, at least $5 billion a year, but they don't call it chemtrails. But then the general public isn't even aware that Bill Gates is running the program in the, quote, terraforming the earth. Into what? They won't tell us. What do you think they're doing?
Well, watching the different sprayers that are coming out that are on patent, like you said, if you just research, there's different sprayers now. If you watch the jets coming by, and usually 99% of them are coming out of the south heading north. And you can see the different types of nozzles because within 5 to 15 minutes, it's either wisping, it's either like puffing, and it's different shapes, but they all turn into clouds where people people do not look up. Everybody, and you have to be aware of, the water you drink. Here it comes down to a relative of mine works for a municipal water system down south. And we talked about fluoride. He says, oh, you're not one of those fluoride nuts, are you? We've had people in our company that refused to put fluoride in the water, in the community water, and they were fired.
I mean, it's on record to be rat poison, and the FDA's been forced to say take it out of the water and the pesticides, but they won't. And then people just laugh at us because we're informed. Insane. Great points, Dean. I appreciate your call. Eric in Connecticut, you're on the air worldwide.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Doing all right, brother.
Good. I talked a little bit about archetypes with the Super Bowl. And the way they played up Peyton Manning to be the superhero, and of course the Super Bowl comes around and he gets trounced. They're always building up archetypes for us, and then they take them down to show that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was at a Super Bowl party at a building downtown in the bottom of the building, in their event center or whatever, and the people got so depressed when he started losing that I was only there about 45 minutes because they all started leaving and I left too. I was already planning to. I was observing this, and literally their hero was defeated, so they all left. I mean, it's totally mindless. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's basic propaganda and psychological imprinting for these archetypes to be put on us. And then, obviously, I've been awake for 10 years. I'm from Connecticut. People here are waking up. I just want to give kudos to that guy that went up at the press conference and spoke about 9/11. Being a journalist myself, I know that it's hard to come out and ask the hard questions because you could get fired or isolated.
That's right. They are controlling the press. They're censoring media. They're trying to shut down the alternative press. It's time to take over press conferences. Civil disobedience. It's time to ask real questions, to jump up on microphones, to go to city council, to go to the mayor's event. You see a mayor that's putting fluoride in your water and won't stop. You see him eating, you go over and you ruin his dinner. It's time to get aggressive with these punks, ahead of other things. Because they're engaged in chemical warfare against us. They think it's funny. They're assaulting us. They should go to prison. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I was up there at Sandy Hook, and to see this kind of propaganda, just being the narrative being spun out, nobody was asking the hard questions. Nobody was asking, real questions about definitive things that can blow this narrative apart. And it goes back to 911, the same thing. You got to ask hard questions to blow the narrative apart and get some real information, and so we could start, gaining more victories here for the info war and the truth overall.
Well said. Well said. I mean, I just see thousands rioting and knocking windows out and burning things in Seattle. And it's like, oh, isn't that cute? The media says they love their team. But if we were attacking Federal Reserve buildings, burning them, they'd send the military out on us to kill us. That's on record. That's been declassified. And I'm not saying burn down Federal Reserve buildings. That makes them the victim. Just point out they're the foreign bank that's occupied us and destroy them politically. They want to have a violent confrontation because they know they're losing the political. That's why they want to flood us with illegals who will then be clients of the Democrats and Republican leadership and vote to take our guns and politically checkmate us. I mean, this is very simple equations here. Let's go to a couple more calls, and I'm going to play Democrat operatives, minions, students signing petition. Listen to this. To have gun owners executed in concentration camps. That's up on Infowars.com. This is so insane. I mean, these people are just, it's scary how dumb Democratic trendies are. And that's why MSNBC and CNN always talk about how smart liberals are and how everyone else is dumb. Because it's a cult of how, it is a cult where they're smart. The hosts are smart, preying on their client minions, who they know literally are so stupid, they just want to watch a show where they talk about how smart they are all day. I'm smart. I am very smart. I like my double price. I think I signed up for Obamacare. I did. I told you didn't sign up, moron, and now you found that out. I mean, you're just so stupid and so dangerous. I think we have to put the gun owners in the FEMA camp and kill them. So you want to kill the gun owners? Yeah, I do. They're actually trendy voices. Oh, yeah, let's kill them. Oh, yeah. Like Buzz Bissinger with Piers Morgan. You need to get a gun and kill Alex. And the woman's like, oh, my gosh, wear a uniform. She's going, the ambassador's daughter, a little model. She's literally on purpose doing sexual. That woman's not really looking at you through the TV with sexual desire. She's manipulating you, men. I know you know that, but be conscious. These info babes. She's like, she literally goes, Piers, wear the uniform. I mean, this is America. They want to kill me. They're criminal scum. By the way, I challenged Piers Morgan to a bare-knuckles boxing match for the charity of his choice, that redcoat trash. And he can have Buzz Bissinger and the ambassador's daughter all together. And I'm going to go further. They can all have baseball bats. And I have my bare fist, because I'm going to club. Oh, just scum. Coming for you, filth. You'll never take that challenge, cowards, because you know what I'll do to you. Sick of this filth. Anyways, I don't know if I could beat him up. with boxing gloves on. But I know if he had a baseball bat, I know I could crush him. First punch, nose is gone. It's when the overwhelming odds come in that the real power is there. It's addicting. And I don't like violence, folks. But I think about these enemies, how they want to kill me. You know what, scum? Go ahead and try it, filth. You're going to feel like your ancestors. We got the guns, and we got the guts, and we got God on our side, and you know it, filth. You may be able to take me down, but you're never taking the spirit of liberty down, filth. It's only when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord lifts up a standard against it. And we are that standard, as imperfect as we are. Forged in the fires of resistance to evil. Let's go ahead and talk to Tony in Idaho. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Alex.
Hey, brother.
God bless you, man. I love you. Pray for you constantly and all those with you. I wanted to bring up the cross-reference between these government wind-up toys and Manchurian candidates and the government preachers. You know, they wind-up toys, they kill people physically, but these preachers with the false doctrine they're preaching, they kill people spiritually, and they reach more people constantly than any of these government Manchurian candidates.
Oh, I know. I go to these big mainline churches. Some of them are good, but none of them will stand up against the government tyranny. The ones I've seen, and it's all just basically 501c3. And there's so many good people in these churches. Some of the nicest people you'll find that are good fathers, good mothers, but they just sit there and Romans 13 all day.
This 501c3, all those people out there that go to those churches, you need to understand that when you fill out your tax form to pay off the 1040 form, which to pay your 1040 taxes, that pays off the interest on the 1040 bonds that they sold to pay off the finance the Civil War. It'll never be paid off. And it's written in Scripture that that we should serve God only, not man. You know?
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. That's like they were trying to set up Christ, and they said, hey, should we pay taxes? And he goes, whose face is on that coin? That's his. Give God the things that are God, your children, your family, your heart. But if they've got some artificial demon system, it's like when you go in an NFL game, you're now under their system. But it doesn't mean we render unto Caesar. We render under the NFL. We pay for the gladiator stadiums. God bless you. I appreciate your call. We're going to go to Peggy and Gil and David and John here in a moment, but I want to get to this Mark Dice video that's up on Infowars.com. Students sign petition to have gun owners executed in concentration camps. College kids to activist prankster. No problem. Sounds about right. So they are ready to kill the gun owners. And you're like, oh, well, they'll never be able to do that. Doesn't matter. They will stand by when the media says you deserve to be disappeared. And they stage some terror attack and blame it on us, and they will salute, and they will report on their neighbors just to get a pat on the head by the secret police. And this is how bad it can get. This is what the Weathermen planned. It's their whole program. And believe me, they really want to do this. I mean, I've got new articles out today. Panelist at Podesta think tank for the White House on Common Core, the children belong to all of us now. Paul Revelle, Massachusetts Secretary of Education, Harvard professor, was a panelist saying your children last week's belong to us. And they're coming. They're not playing games. Let's go to this clip. Here it is.
We hope to repeal the Second Amendment and keep guns off the campus and keep everybody safe. We just want to make sure that we support Obama and the Bilderberg group and just disarm the citizens. We could trust the government to be the only ones with guns. Yeah, birth date and a signature to repeal the Second Amendment. These peasants don't need guns, so thanks for supporting that. Appreciate that. Thanks for your help. We're trying to repeal the Second Amendment and put all gun owners in prison. The registered gun owners, put them in prison. Thank you for supporting that.
Thank you. I think it's too dangerous.
It's too dangerous. They don't need these guns anymore. Only the police need the guns, right?
Yeah, right.
We could trust them. Have a good day. Thank you.
These are college students.
It's just a simple repeal of the Second Amendment, and we'll be terminating and executing all of the gun owners. Okay. Thank you. We're going to be executing. Hey, we support, come on real quick, support Obama. Come on, support Obama's gun control bill.
You want to ban the gun control?
Yes, we're going to ban all guns, except for the military and the police.
Okay.
Yeah, sign right here. Yeah. Quite frankly, we just want to ban all the guns except for the ones that the military and the police have. We'll do some door-to-door gun confiscations. We have lists of all the registered weapons, so the military will just go and take those away from people.
Okay.
Thanks for supporting that. Hey, will you support Obama's gun control, reintroducing Obama's gun control bill? Yeah. They shot it down, and so, I mean, really what we'd like to do is just take the gun owners' guns, the registered legal ones, and just birth date there, and just, you know, shoot them. I mean, these people, they like their guns so much, let's just feed the gun owners some of their own lead, right? Keep people safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro. I didn't think I could get more ridiculous than the first one, but we're just going to kill them all now. We're supporting Obama reintroducing the gun control bill just to keep people safe.
I'm not for that.
But we need to take these gun owners and we need to put them into the FEMA camps, into the concentration camps. We need to keep everybody safe.
I agree to keep everyone safe.
Let's put them in the FEMA camps. It's for their own good.
I'm not signing anything out.
Bro, it's like the concentration camp.
That's awesome. You're signing today?
Yeah. We're just getting people to sign a petition to support putting the gun owners in the FEMA camps, just to get them off the streets and put them in the detention centers.
Yeah.
Thanks for supporting that.
No problem.
Quick sign here and print there and sign there. What is this? This is for the supporting Obama's new gun control bill. The Republicans blocked it. So we want to just go and round up all of the gun owners and put them away in the FEMA detention camps for owning their guns. Thanks for supporting that.
We laugh. These people are so stupid.
Behind the president and put these registered gun owners.
What's the reading?
Birth date.
Oh,
yeah, birth date, and then sign. We really need to just get behind the president and take these registered legal gun owners and put them in a FEMA concentration camp.
Yeah.
And just keep everybody safe that way, so we can just go about our business.
Okay.
Thanks for supporting putting them in FEMA camps.
Yeah.
It's to support the Obama gun control measures and putting the gun owners in the FEMA camps.
What's a FEMA camp?
It's the Federal Emergency Management Agency camp for registered gun owners. Just print here.
She signs it.
Birthday didn't sign. I like your purse matches your sweater.
He's reading it.
Here, just print, sign.
We're going to break. There's another 5 minutes of this. She's doing it. Put him in the camp. Come on. Camp.
And it closes the gun show loophole.
Camp.
And
sign it.
Just print
camp.
there.
When we
print
come back, we'll find out if she signed it.
Print there.
Camp. Camps. Liberal. Put them in camps.
If you ever wanted to get off the grid.
The gun owners in the FEMA camps.
What's a FEMA camp?
It's the Federal Emergency Management Agency camp for registered gun owners. Just print here. So birthday didn't sign. I like your purse matches your sweater. Here, just print, sign. Does it give you the pen? Yes. Just print there, birth date, sign.
Okay.
And it closes the gun show loophole. And print there. Print there, please. Just print there, please.
Camp.
Print there, please.
Camp. Sign it.
Birthday.
Yeah.
Signature.
It's like a Caddyshack when they're betting on the kid and will eat the booger or not. He's like, oh yeah.
The Bilderberg Group and the Illuminati, and we support their gun control measures. Thank you so much.
He says we support the Illuminati. Going to put people in camps. She signs it.
Birth date, sign. And
there's the super liberal for you, folks.
You don't need any guns, peasants.
I'm not going to repeat it, but I know it.
Okay, you agree though, right? Just quick name and a signature here.
All right, folks, these are the sad, weak people.
Signature, please.
Enough of those. There's like 3 more minutes of it. I can't watch it. This is the patheticness. This is what big government nanny states created. Total jellyfish. I'm going to go to Peggy and others here in a moment. Briefly, we're listener-supported. Become a PrisonPlanet.tv member. We're a launch pad for all these other shows, all these other people. We're here to promote other liberty lovers. That's my main mission, is to protect and defend liberty and to launch more attacks on the enemy with the truth. And become a PrisonPlanet.tv member. We're still running the special. It's about to end in a couple days. You can get 5 months free right now at PrisonPlanet.tv. 11 people can use the membership. We couldn't do this without you members. I want to thank you all. And you have InfoWarsLife.com with the incredible nascent iodine that even children can take. Check with your doctor, but doesn't taste horrible. It tastes kind of like sweet, but also a little bit irony. It just has like that, almost that ozone-y flavor. It's really special. InfoWarsLife.com done so much for me, my energy, you name it. InfoWarsLife.com. We've got the great coffee from southern Mexico that's totally organic, grown in organic soil, in the volcanic soil, and it's bought directly from the Chiapas farmers, so it helps them out. Wake Up America blends and the super immune system support blend. It's got the key mushrooms in it, known for battling all sorts of stuff. Just check it out for yourself. InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com. And when you shop with the good guys, it makes it all possible. Peggy, thanks for holding. You want to talk about loving FEMA as well, Peggy, in Washington. Go ahead.
Okay. Listen, I've been trying to get through to you. It's real important. All the flood maps that FEMA says that they have updated, they have not. Through the Bigger Water Insurance Reform Act.
Are you saying FEMA lies?
Well, yeah. Well, we all know that. Basically, what they're doing is they're putting forced place flood insurance on people, then forcing them to get elevation certificates. That feeds the information to FEMA, also feeds it to reinsurance companies so that
No, it's a total deal to rip you off. The insurance companies are owned by the banks that run the country, and the whole government's being turned into a giant rip-off machine for them.
Precisely. So the problem is I went to congressmen, senators, even the governor, and asked, who do I send my invoice to for the information that I'm supplying to the federal government? Boy, I'll tell you, they got real excited about that, wanting my name. They sent me
bottom line, it's a total scam job. You should do a YouTube video on it. You should talk about what happened to you. But yeah, no, they're trying to move people out of the areas that don't flood every 100 years. They're trying to jack up prices. It's a total scam. I'm going to come back in overdrive. David's going to talk about call the cops on thugs. So they questioned him. If you go up to Infowars.com, we have the headline, Black Thugs Beat Up White Hippies in Front of Police Station for no reason. And it's part of the racial attacks all over the country that the media will not talk about because it's racist. But let's go to David in Indiana. He has his own story. I don't know what color the thugs were, but he said called cops on thugs, so they questioned him. David, you're just here to pay taxes as a blood bag for the NFL and the offshore banks. You didn't, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the cops are in your area of Indiana, but just tell me what happened, David.
Well, basically yesterday, it's what I thought was at first. So I look out my bedroom window. I'm on the second floor.
Are you on a cordless phone? You're on a cordless phone, aren't you?
Hold on 1 second.
Hey, get closer to the jack. I've learned all the noises of cell phones. It's not a cell phone, it's a cordless phone. Go ahead.
All right. Well, basically, yesterday I heard what was a dog. Well, ended up being a dog screaming. I thought it was a person at first. Then I hear 5 loud gunshots. Boom, 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 boom. So I look out my window. I said that was a gun, and then I see 2 thugs running away, and I heard the dogs crying. I run outside immediately, try to see where they went. Lost them. Called the cops immediately. They get over there, and I'm telling them, it was a small caliber pistol. It was very loud, like a .22 snub nose. Oh, you seem very knowledgeable on guns. Do you have a gun on you? Why are you acting so brave? Just trying to basically make me the criminal whenever they should be trying to find these guys.
Well, you are a criminal.
Yeah, a thought criminal.
Breathing Al Gore's air is a crime. So how did all this end?
Well, I gave them the description of the 2 guys, but basically the puppy ended up having to be put down, and I mean it was on a leash. You know, some little boy lost his dog for just two guys getting a kick out of shooting it.
Well, so what did the cops say to you when they left? Just like, see you in the FEMA camp or something?
Yeah, they took my information down, but you know I was really offended when they tried to make me the criminal.
Well, that's pretty bad that you saw that it was a short handgun and thought it was a small caliber. That is. Knowing things is criminal, sir.
Yeah, that's how they want to act.
Do you know how to tie your shoelaces?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you want to strangle children.
And one other thing is, you know, I'm a third-time caller. I had called whenever John from Coast to Coast AM was on your show, you know, and I brought up the fact about Angry Birds, you know, being a spy app, and sure enough, it came out that they sure are. It
sure is for the NSA. God bless you. We're out of time for that caller. John in Alaska, you're our last caller. Sorry to the others. Go ahead, John. You're on the air.
Hey, Alex. How you doing?
I can't believe you just talked to an evil person earlier. Go ahead.
First of all, I want to say it's a big honor to talk to you. I've been seeing you on YouTube and listening to your show as much as I can. I mainly wanted to just bring up a couple questions here, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I saw something on YouTube that you and Jesse Ventura worked on, and wonderful guy, by the way. And, you know, what I'm wondering about is, you know, these fusion camps and residential centers that have railways next to them. I mean, you know, what's
and they admit it's for us and our families, and it's in the Army own official manual. And yeah, and then you go to the congressman who authored the bill to expand it, and he says it doesn't exist. And then we show it exists, so the congressman has the show taken off the air. Because they know that when their house of cards falls, it's all coming down. A criminal group has taken over. They've set up a police state. They fund terrorists to attack us as an excuse to be able to take over. It's very elementary.
Mm-hmm. What really scared me the most, though, was seeing that big field that you guys discovered that was full of disposable coffins.
Well, the government loves you, sir. Be sure and take all the vaccines. By the way, they're claiming it's the law to make 6-year-olds take the flu shot in New York, kind of like Gardasil in Texas. There is no law. They just say it's mandated as policy. You have to force them to back off. But they'll lie to you as a criminal group. It's what government does. 7 o'clock tonight, we'll have the guy that blew the Super Bowl wide open for 9/11 Truth. 7 o'clock Central, PrisonPlanet.tv. God bless you all. You are the resistance.